Alrighty, let's get this thing started. Hello everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday stream, normally for Starfleet Command. However, today we're going to have a little bit of a special episode. We have been working on for the past couple of weeks and talking about for the past several months about making a new TNG mod for Starfleet Command II Orion Pirates. And today I wanted to sort of show off some of the work that we've done so far. Hello Sprogue, hello Matthew, welcome to the stream. So, what you're going to see today is basically phase one of our work in progress mod. What we're doing so far isn't anything crazy, not out of the ordinary. Interactive breakdown crying. What? What we're about to do isn't anything crazy or out of the ordinary. It's going to be pretty normal and fine. And a very much work in progress. So there's no real changes to the ship list. It's mostly a visual update at this point. Phase 2, which I don't anticipate happening anytime this year, will be a completely redone ship list to be more TNG-like and to just mess around with ships. But for now, we're doing this just as mostly a visual update. Now, I have mostly been working on the Federation, in part because I'm building off of Starfleet Command II Orion Pirates Plus mod, which has a lot of different ships for the Federation, especially ship models. So they are definitely going to be the most difficult faction to sort of make work with this. If I haven't said it before, hi Neutrino and hi Raider. So because of that, I've been working on them first because, you know, you do the most difficult thing first, and that way everything else is smooth sailing. So all we have are Federation at the moment, and the Federation aren't even done. There are a couple of major holes right now, mainly in carriers, but I figure we've got enough to sort of show what it is we're going to do. So we're going to start a brand new campaign. I could just go into the skirmish list, but I figured this would be a little bit more fun. I still have it set up so that my Federation campaign begins as a heavy cruiser, so I should be able to show off that. How are you handling weapon sets in phase 2? We're going to completely rewrite everything. We're basically going to start from scratch. Editing ships and text files. Yes, it is, which is why my friend who does coding has been bugging me to learn coding faster so that I can start using scripts. Alright, so, just beginning map. We haven't made any changes here. If I can, we will, and I think that we can. So, yeah. Also, we just to put a little update on the plans on the Discord, and if you're not a member of the Discord, Spro, can you throw up a link to the Discord in chat or something? Actually, no, you can't. Starfleet Command 4 confirmed. I wish. Maybe we could call it that, but that would be a little bit presumptuous of us, so I'm not quite sure we would want to do that. Let me quickly just throw up a link to the Discord and chat. This is where we talk about it and sort of mess around with it, so you want to be a little bit more involved in it. Feel free to do something to to get in touch with us on the Discord. If you've got ship models, if you know how to model, if you know how to texture, that sort of thing, we'd really appreciate it. Or if you just have ideas of what we should do. How long did it take you to write the latest AAR? It took me several hours. I've been writing it since Monday, I think. I did the battle on Monday, right? Yeah. Anyway, the screen is real small. Yeah, it's always been this small. It'll get bigger once we actually get into the 3D environment. It's just the 2D. But yeah, so yeah, let's just sort of jump into it. I do have a made brand new early heavy cruiser. And keep in mind, the position that this mod is supposed to exist in is sort of super late TMP, early TNG onto post Deep Space Nine. So, as you can see, we are in a Constitution-class vessel. However, we are using its Demon Renegade Studios, I believe. He has a whole ton of special Constitutions, and he's got a Dominion War refit, which I figured was perfectly appropriate for the sorts of things that we wanted to do. So, this is not exactly going to show off everything, but I figure at about a half hour to go left in the stream, or an hour left to go in the stream, we'll just go into the skirmish mode and start showing off just a whole bunch of ship models. Size reminders when I first engagement press one same resolution. Alright. So this is our Constitution class. This Constitution class only will serve as the early heavy cruiser. If you're familiar with this particular mod, Orion Pirates Plus, you'll know that the early heavy cruiser has the original series style Constitution with the whole rounded nacelles, and then as you progress through the game, it turns into the motion picture era Constitution. That is basically what we've done. So the early era ones are going to be these Dominion War refits, and then you move into the heavy cruiser, which will be different, and then you move into the new heavy cruisers, which are different, and all the X heavy cruisers, which are all different. So yes, the model's beautiful. Like I said, I believe it's Demon Renegade Studios who makes this. Once we finally actually make the mod proper, I'll go through making sure that everything is properly sourced, so you can give thanks to the people who actually make it, because all I've been doing is just hunting through the internet, finding Starfleet Command models, and really any any mod from Starfleet Command 1, 2, or 3, they all share the same ship files. They're all .mod for models, so we can use any of them. If I can figure out how to convert other models into .mod, I can take from even more things, because Star Trek Legacy, as much of a disappointing game as it ended up being, nostalgic as all hell, but still kind of disappointing, has some really beautiful models, especially for things like the Luna class, which I kind of wanted to use for the normal Federation heavy cruiser. But yeah, so this is our early heavy cruiser. It is exactly what you might expect it to be. It's a Federation heavy cruiser. We haven't changed any of the weapon setups to the ship list, so because of that, actually, some of the firing ports for the ships may be a little bit off. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the stream. We're just sort of going through talking about the mod that we have been working on for Starfleet Command II Orion Pirates. So, all right, let's kick this thing up in the high gear. We have talked enough about things. Part of this is also to play the game. We do want to have fun. Unless, you guys don't want me to be playing the game and we just want to be looking at the new ships, in which case, just make a lot of noise in chat so that I know what you guys are actually interested in looking at, and that way I can just go to the skirmish mode and just cycle through a whole bunch of different ships that we have. Although this is the more organic, natural way of doing it. Hello, Thornbush. Welcome to the stream. A couple of other things that we kind of want to do as part of this mod, even in Phase 1, is we're thinking about swapping out some of the races. I actually had a poll about this over on the Discord, because I have an entire Cardassian fleet that I can pretty easily swap into just about every other faction. And I kind of suggested that it would be great to swap out the Gorn, because the Gorn fleet is really ugly. But Discord was not having any of that. They voted completely against doing that. They want the Gorn to have their vanilla ship models, actually, which has more variety and that sort of thing, but is not changing them into Cardassians. Should I watch you break down when the mod breaks down? The mod shouldn't break down unless I've mistyped a couple of things. Oh, that was brilliant, actually. We hit him all 4 times with those photon torpedoes. He's having a bad day. 37 damage got through. Alright, so we're just gonna keep on soaring on. How much power do I currently have? I have a little bit. Where's that? No, it's lying to me, because half my photon torpedoes don't actually work. Let's actually go in here, and we're going to shut off these photon torpedoes, so I have a little bit more power. I want to have some maneuverability against the D7. Yeah, this cuts me in half, but you know what? My photon torpedoes do twice as much damage as them. That's what they all say. It's only model edits at this point. I haven't actually gone any. I'm still watching on an XCOM. We haven't done anything quite like the Long War. I like the look of the Starfleet Battles TOS grown ships, but not the new ones. I really don't like the ones that ended up getting used for Orion Pirates Plus. They all look the same, and I'm a huge fan of. I'm just a really big fan of model variety, which is one of the reasons why OB Plus originally made me super happy to play. The BPP is completely off balance. Yes, it's completely off balance. We haven't touched it, but it's totally ruined. So yeah. One of the things, though, that I almost did was I almost went in and modified a couple of ships. Like, we have the heavy dreadnought is currently being served as the Galaxy X with the triple nacelles and the big massive cannon underneath. And I came so close to throwing a phaser 4 on that just for kicks and looks. Right, let's see if we can't get the ship repaired, because the D7 is technically ready. Oh, I'm very happy that the damage maps work. I was a little bit worried. Will you stop doing that? Nobody likes it when you do that. It's just a jerk move. It's not fun to fight. Or, you could really do that and that would very much hurt. So now we're in trouble. Let's get some repairs underway. Gotta build some distance from this guy. He's causing too much damage. But no, like, the BPV is weird. D7C against the CAR. We're playing on Admiral difficulty. I don't know if that affects your reasonings or anything. There's only a 2 phaser difference. We also have a buddy over here who's not actually getting involved, which is always fun. So I've got half my photon torpedoes ready, and we're charging up the other half now, so we should have another nice little assault on him. Yeah, after this, we're going to be doing the Klingon fleet because people voted for it. I actually asked people which faction they wanted us to see us go after in this stream, and it was most people, almost everybody, decided they wanted us to fight Klingons. So the Klingons really have been getting it recently. We've had the last stream campaign was against the Klingons, our current Gorn campaign is against the Klingons, and now we're going to be doing this against the Klingons. So my intention originally was to make it so that I could change the Klingon models with some of the ones from the TNG era as well, but that ended up not happening for reasons that are abundantly clear on the Discord. No ranting and raving today? About what? What would we rant and rave about? So let's bounce that, spin through, and give you a little bit of love. Have you any OP working? What have you got on our parts working with an AMD GPU? I don't know. I have an NVIDIA, so cannot answer that question, unfortunately. Oh, good. Half my photon torpedoes have been blasted away, so I can't accidentally turn them on. Aha! Take damage and die. You know what, Marines? Go blow something up. There we go. So we blow up half of that, so he's not nearly as dangerous from behind anymore. And a missile, but we don't care.
Tractor beams set.
Oh, turn them off. Seems like a Federation has phase-shifting technology passed right through the enemy left wing. That's normal. It'll buff out. I remember a certain Rogue Tech live stream, we were just a bit salty at the changes. That was, dude, that was like a month and a half, 2 months ago? Is the C7 going to be a Vorcha? I don't know. I want the Vorchas to be like really sort of common and popular, because I'll be perfectly honest, not everything that I've done to this mod has been done with an eye towards like canonness, I suppose. In that some people have argued that my choice of destroyers has been way off because the ship I have there should be something completely different. I didn't actually have a chance to fix that today, though, which I was a little bit disappointed at. Timing and scheduling has become a little bit hectic as of this week. So let's just give him a look. Oh, you were supposed to say looking at me, but apparently I can't hit you anyway, so you're perfectly safe, man. Be happy. Be aggressive. Open up a shield? No, not quite. Do you take the models from everywhere, or do you go to movies? Anything that fits. It's a TNG mod, so. Does a Vorcha have anything on a size of photon torpedo? Yeah, it has tons of phasers. I mean, you can check out fan wikis and that sort of thing. Constellation class noises. Yes, the Constellation I had set as our destroyer. Or, was it? Yeah, the regular destroyer. Because I wanted it to be somewhat popular, and people pointed out that the Constellation really should be something a little bit different. Yes, disruptors. The Klingons use disruptors instead of phasers, according to TNG. Which isn't quite accurate, but okay. Okay, so we've heard each other. Can I have Marines retarget that? Because that would be a little bit more important. Can I get anything to shoot at this point? There we go. It's a pain to try and find models that fit. Not as bad as you'd think. Is the Miranda class as useless in this game as it is in the shows? In this particular game? No. The Mirandas are fantastic. They've got 4 photon torpedoes. Or 8 photon torpedoes? Because they've got 4 forward and 4 aft or something like that? They're kind of crazy. It's basically everything that you would ever want in a starship and then a little bit. So if he just wants to hold on to me, I was mostly okay with that until my Marines decided to go over and blow up half of my own ship. Fix that. Hey Marines, if you do that again, I may have to have words. So now he's coming around. I don't quite know what I want to do at this point. Because seeing as my ally is like totally, completely worthless. Oh, there he comes. Now he's helping out. Can I get anything to shoot? No, we're just going to sit here in his tug. That'll be fine. I can sit here and blink away with my phasers. It'll work. Yeah, the models we've been sourcing from basically everywhere. If there is a Starfleet Command 3 mod, I have tried to hunt it down and grab everything I could from it. Found mostly dead links that didn't exist anymore when I was looking for models. Yeah, there's a lot of those, but there are some sites that you can go to that have what you need in order to make this work. Are you kidding me? He's taken out all of my phasers. Yay, the hit and run worked. Not ours, but, you know, it worked. Let's turn this. Starboard shield. Get that online. I'm about to have 2 phasers, and I'd like to not lose them. There goes his shield. Now he's got a turn. Okay, he's got 2 phaser ones, and I have how much power in defense? I have 20 points of power in this shield. Theoretically, he can actually punch through that. I hope not, but theoretically he can. A lot of the mods from the Dynaverse forums are dead. Gamefront surprisingly has a lot of mods that work. So if you're looking for Starfleet Command models, Gamefront has a lot of mods that you can go to in order to steal their models, lift them wholesale. And I will try and make sure I remember which ones that I grabbed. It's basically any of them at this point. I haven't decided if we're actually going to like distribute this or anything. Probably not, just because it's going to be kind of crazy to try and just hunt down every single permission / credit that is worth it. So this may just stay a very private mod. You're about to beat this guy simply by blinking with 1 phaser blink. Yes, this is true. Mines? Not this close. We'd end up hurting ourselves. Besides, we're at a range of 0. But I hate mines anyway. It's a terrible strategy. Anybody who uses it, it's not cool. You instantly go into the uncool club. And you're going to die. Oh, come on! We were having so much fun together. There we go. Set a speed of 1.5. This should work. Why did you let go? Now we're just gonna beat the crap out of you. You could have prevented this. You could have prevented this. And just wait, because what? One more phaser ought to do it? No, he got to take the credit. So, actually what ended up happening is the Freedom won this battle, not us. Which, you know, isn't that just so true? Freedom always wins. Alright, so that's the Federation Heavy Cruiser. Do you guys want me to just go through and, like, sell cruisers to get different ships? I don't know quite how we want to do this. Didn't really have a major game plan, just wanted to sort of enjoy playing a little bit with the new mod. Literally Star Trek nemesis ship kills each other. What a save. Instead of data, it kills the other ship. Most of the models I've found have readme with the credits. Yep. Yeah, most of them do, and I just keep them in there. So, let's go on another mission. Actually, let's go give me a little bit more spare parts, so I don't get myself screwed. It's not optimal to buy anything early on, but we're gonna do it. Shipyard defense? Sure, why not? Let's throw ourselves against something dangerous. But yeah, so phase 1 is going to be mostly just a graphical change, and our biggest holes really are... there we go. I'm so happy about this one. We have a really nice Akiazi, which we're using for our early Federation frigate. It's old, it's out of date, but that is by design. I mean, it's supposed to be a ship that you only see for a little while because the Federation is sort of revamping up their military. It's also a fairly cool ship. I'm a fan. I am a big fan of this ship. This is not the version that has the little winglets that go downward, but I figured it sort of fit into that early Trek half TMP sort of molding into the TNG timeline, so that's why we got one of those. Is a police ship an Oberth class? No, the Oberth is actually a Galactic Survey Cruiser. So, the police ship is an Okinawa, which we found a better Okinawa than the ones that otherwise were available, and we made that work. So we got a D7, the Crusher, and a D7N. So I believe the N is the more powerful version, which means that's where we need to be. The smart thing to do with this is to just sit at maximum range and blink away with photon torpedoes. But we have been being a little bit aggressive. Perhaps we shouldn't be. So like I said, if the chat wants us to just go into Skirmish, we'll do that. But my current thing is we're just going to sort of play through the campaign and then come up with new ships often. And then at the last half hour or so, we'll slip into Skirmish so we can take a look at things. Okay. What are you doing? I have no idea. But yeah. Campaign speedrun. This is not really a game you speedrun. Or rather, this is not a faction that you speedrun with. The Federation take a while to do things. The speedrunning faction is the Marak for sure. As they can just annihilate people without so much as trying. Hello, buddy. Goodbye to your forward shield. Goodbye to my rear shield, by the way. This is gonna suck. And he's about to drop his mines. 3, 2, 1. Oh, he's not. Why did he not? Also, the fact that the Federation early heavy cruiser has, like, no armor is really kind of irritating. Like, none whatsoever. We fixed the entire ship and he got right through it. Fire photons at max range. That's the way to go, man. That is the efficient way to win this game. You sit there at a range of 55 and you bombard the crap out of people. It works, too. Slow down here so that I can have a nice, powerful forward shield. Wow, you burned through it anyway. And I have crunched through another one of your shields. Oh, good. We have these. How far away are we? We're outside their range. Great. So we got to drag him into range. I do think the Akiazi looks quite nice and sort of fits into the timeline in terms of what it can do. Because it's small, it's out of date, but still, the Federation doesn't just get rid of things. Oh, we got a fighter. Oh, so the G7N has a fighter. That's fascinating. But we're going to stay nice and slow. Mainly because we don't have enough power to do anything else. Photon torpedoes, photon torpedoes. There we go. Oh, we managed to open up one, didn't I? Overload disruptors really hurt. Nah, not that much. Although it does kind of look like you're having a stroke with the way that you're writing that. Yes, enough of that. Alright, so let's just keep... Yeah, we've got him dead. He doesn't know it yet, but he's dead. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that's what I thought with the maybe not. I do need to slow down so I can get my photon torpedo recharged. Because once the photon torpedoes are recharged, we have quite a bit of big stick firepower. We've got 2 of them. That should be good enough. It did not. Don't lie to me. There we go. He's crippled. He still has tractor beams, but for how much longer? Photon torpedo. Another couple of good hits. The phasers. There we are. A few more phasers. And then we can go deal with the other D7. Isn't it so much nicer when you actually have a ship that can help defend against these starbases? There we go. Oh, he's crippled. Yeah, they're going to take him out. Assuming, of course, they haven't, you know, already run out of ammunition. Yeah, but this is the strategy to do. Maximum range, photon torpedoes, proximity, and plink. Run away at full speed. And that's your strategy. Of course, you need to reinforce the rear shield, and I didn't do that, but you get the idea. Also, in general, don't phaser run them. Generally doesn't work. Because it takes so much of your power away. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to do. I probably shouldn't be playing this in maximum speed. I'm playing really terribly today, actually. There we go. Mainly because I don't want to be fighting this battle. I want to get a lot of prestige and just get a different ship. Let's return. Hello. Oh, photon torpedo didn't fire. Of course not. There we go. Of course, disruptors also kind of snipe, so yeah, well, disruptors don't snipe as well as photon torpedoes do, because photon torpedoes have a maximum range of 55. Disruptors don't hit that at all. And disruptors also do minuscule damage at their maximum ranges anyway. So the photon torpedo is a better sniping weapon. The disruptor is great if you're attacking somebody from behind and they're not engaging you, because then you can just sort of abuse the system. Yeah, I'm a little bit used to testing slightly larger ships. Probably shouldn't be traveling quite so quick. Or having ships that can basically just one-shot anything they run into. That Gorn campaign is going ridiculously well. Although this Akiase has managed to get out of this entire fight with apparently not losing its shield once. So that's nice. Your shields are being trimmed, but they're not exactly low. I'm just gonna slow way down. Because why not? Give me a shot on your open shield. Now you're gonna work around to my stern, aren't you? Oh, you little... just... I hate you so much.
Forward port shield down.
The mine tactic truly is the most irritating thing to have to worry about. Because it's not skill-based, it's just drop a mine, 10 damage. Drop a mine, 10 damage. I think the most effective ship in this game would probably be just a mine dropper with a whole ton of tractor beams filled full of mines. I should build that ship and see how it does. Okay, stop shooting into my ship. You're not allowed to do that. Oh, good. I was a little bit worried because the range was a little bit longer than optimal, but that worked out quite nicely. And it looks like the Akiase is just sort of skirmishing way out, which is kind of his job. When I played back in the day, I put that as the lowest priority. What, speed? Yeah. It's not super important if you just want to sort of smash into people. But it's very helpful if you're fighting Klingons to be just as fast as they are. More important against plasma races, though. But yeah, the prevailing strategy against Klingons would be to Star Castle up and just tank it. But I don't like playing that way. It's boring. That's one of the reasons I don't like early Gorn. Early Gorn is just incredibly boring. Very tense, but incredibly boring. You sit there at a speed of nothing and just bombard people with plasma torpedoes once every 3 turns. Come on, phasers, come back to me. Let me shoot him. I'm in such a great position to do it, too. There we go. And all that damage is actually starting to have an effect. Lovely. So forward shield's back. How much power do I got? 10 points of power. Surely an impenetrable defense in the early era. Oh, photon torpedoes are about to be ready. 2 more hits right onto the hull. And yeah, I don't want to get too close to you because your point-blank range combat is actually fairly decent, especially from behind. Although we've lost 3 of the 4 phasers I was worried about. That helps. 16 damage? Yeah, early on 16 damage is a lot. At least for the Federation. I got 2 photon torpedoes to hit a man. Although when you stop to consider dreadnoughts only have 4 photon torpedoes, the early dreadnought, it's pretty sad. Because they're actually not much better armed than their heavy cruiser counterparts. It's just the only thing they're designed to do is go further. Please die. I don't want to waste any more time with you. Oh, we got him. He's dead and he doesn't even know it. Surrender your vessel. We come in peace. Shoot to kill. Oh. Just gonna wait until I have all my phasers ready so we can actually alpha strike this guy. So we can deal enough damage to overcome. Never mind, they got him. Good job. Resistance is futile. Capture it? No, I don't have enough Marines. I got like 2. I'd have to buy Marines to capture them, although that is a plan. So yeah, that's our Akiazi. That's serving as our early frigate. Not meant to be anything special, but it is fun, and I do like it. 429. Do I have enough for anything else? I could buy a police ship, but it's an Okinawa. I'd rather not. Just to be honest with you. Our light cruisers are available, but I don't have enough cash for it. Command cruisers should be the same thing as what we're currently in. Destroyers also can't afford it because of the way that I can't just sell the only ship that I have. So it looks like we're stuck in our ship for a little while. So, to assuage Sprague, we shall pick up some Marines. By some, I mean a lot. Let's just get this ship out. That way we can take a couple of missions in a row, and we'll be good. There we go. Pop over here. Say hi to the mission maker. Give me the MET-17 patrol. It should not break this early. But this mission is very unstable. And this is not a thing about the mod, so before Sprogs tries to tell me that my modding has made this thing completely unstable. No, no, no. It's just this mission. Do I watch hockey? Yes, I do. I'm a fan of the Buffalo Sabres. We haven't had a Stanley Cup in ever. So, yeah. My one sister is a Capitals fan. I don't know how she turned into one of those. And my other sister became a Blues fan. So they've been having 2 very good years of hockey. MET-17 is just broke. Yup, I've been told by several people, oh, they fixed it. No. So you kill your opponent, you just crash. Except in certain early era scenarios. I don't know why, but sometimes the early era works out fine. Bandwagoner. She's been a Cap fan since before they got it, and my other sister's been a Blues fan since before they got a cup. So they're not quite bandwagoners, but yeah, I have made fun of her just continuously. Like pirates. Ah, yes. I have a very beautiful Maquis Raider that is going to be replacing all of these frigates. Ready to crash? Not yet. I hope not. Okay, slow down the speed. Oh, shoot! I was not paying attention. I don't want to do this mission anymore. Was not paying attention at all. And that sucked. Put up one of these. I hate you so much, but at least if you stay underwater for a while, you may be incredibly easy to kill shortly. Should have overloaded the photon torpedoes if I was going to do something so stupid as to drive right into them. Wow, did you just set off your own mine? Photon torpedoes. Hey, look, he's open. Oh wait, half my phasers are currently unavailable for various reasons. And just spread out all the damage across the entire ship. Shut that off. Fortunately, cosmetic mods are stable. Yes, they are. You just change one file path and boom, you have a brand new ship. Oh, he's overloading. He's going for the full speed effect that he can possibly manage. There we go. I was worried that was going to take forever. You know what? Grab him. And Marines, if you don't mind. Blow the only thing up on that ship that matters to me. That is a phaser. Hi! You're mine. Phaser. Or not phaser, tractor beam. Bring him over here. Oh, you little jerk. Don't do that. Your orders are not to do that. No, I at least dragged him over to the right side of the ship. I didn't. I've just been way too busy, partly with this mod, actually. A lot of my free time at this point has been spent, 1, learning to code, and 2, messing with this mod to try and find the right ships and hunt things down and get all the stuff that I really want. Which is one of the reasons why I was able to find a New Orleans class that actually didn't look terrible. You would be amazed at just how almost impossible it is to find a New Orleans class. I'm a fan of the ship, so trying to find it was just a nightmare and a half. Okay, and Marines down to 5. We're going to steal them just for Sprogue. We'll name it the USS Sprogue, and that will assuage our community manager. It's down to 4. Oh, come on. Should have died at that point. Oh, he's coming to cloak. Full powered engines! And drop a mine. We are too close. You didn't turn into me. Okay, that was probably your first mistake. He had a chance to actually get us. So we'll just keep coming around and hopefully we won't get shot at, although I have no promises on that one. Let's not go in that direction. It is a silly direction. Hey man, I'm in it for the money. Clearly you are. Although I'm in it for, well, to be fair, I'm also in it for the money so I can get a bigger ship. A bigger and a better ship. For a brighter tomorrow. Will you just fire your plasma torpedo already so I can go kill your buddy? Ugh. Plebeian. Just sitting back there cruising at full speed. If I remember correctly, the CAR is actually not capable of hitting speed of 31. Or is that the normal heavy cruiser? The CA for the CR2? I don't quite remember. Let's go just plink with this guy. Hi, buddy. I'm here to just rip away most of your weapon systems. And I'll deal with your buddy shortly. 3. It's not good enough. Bring me down to 2. Still not good enough. How did you hit him with all that and not... I don't even know. I just need one more person to be dead, though. How did you not have that shot? He was right behind us. That's your one weird arc. It shoots directly behind us and then in the one third arc. It's the weirdest ship. Max the speed. Let's just zip along. May as well take a little less time. Will you back the hell out? I want to deal with you. Go back to the Fire Nation. Okay, so this should allow me to now take him out. Hi, buddy. Phasers, please. Any weapon? Okay, now I'm confused. I ordered my weapons to half, not nothing. Oh, the phaser capacitor isn't charged. That would make sense. I haven't had to deal with that problem in a very long time. See, this is what happens when you get late into a campaign. You just forget how to do things. There we go. Marines, steal me a ship. And then we can deal with you. And all of your bull. Oh, there we go. We can just zip along. So yeah, if I seem a little bit muted more than normal today, unfortunately I've managed to hurt my back again, so currently dealing in a little bit under the weather with that. Ah, good, you've come out of the cloak. Now I can deal with you. Gee, my friend will probably be captured and then you'll try and kill him, because that is the way of people with cloaking devices. They're cowards, universally. Oh, game, I love it, and your runs. Oh, thank you. So, yeah, once we can... Sounds like you need more opiates. No, I very much try to avoid anything like that whenever possible. Okay, so we got our one ship. Is he going to turn around and take it? I think he's going to turn around and fight it. Perfect. Okay, I don't want to get too close because, of course, plasma torpedo, which is painful to deal with. There, I expected that one. And bounces off the back shield. Okay, so now we get into the finer things of trying to find a cloaked ship and deal with him. Translation: everything that you will ever hate in life is about to be undergone right now. Or, you know, he could pass right next to me with a downed shield? Yeah, I can work with that, but I didn't think that was your plan. So wait for it, wait for it. Bomb, bring me top view, place the bomb right there. Let me guess, it turned off for no apparent reason. That is the most irritating bug in this entire game, and anyone can tell you that. 3, 2, 1.
Releasing mine.
The mine. Hi, buddy. You're mine. No, wait. Give it a moment. Give it a moment. Centralize. Oh shoot! You gotta shut this off quick. There we go. Now we're dealing damage. So, can I hurt him enough to make him not do anything for the next several turns? The answer to that question is no. But I can get it started. It'll take a while, but, you know. Alright, get ready for him to shove off of us. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Mines? Yeah, we just used them. Mines are the way to decloak them, but we don't have many other options when it comes to just trying to beat through them. Oh, shoot! That was annoying. So now I gotta deal with that with photon torpedoes. But you know what? I'm gonna shoot him anyway because I'm a madman. And because I don't really care about that much internal damage at this point. Fix that. And that. Hey, look! Our buddy's coming. that many phaser blasts, and I can do almost no damage thanks to the shield buff.
Damage faster shields.
Do you... No, you just don't have any power to charge it? Or what? Anyway, Marines, go break that. Instead of go break that. Go away. You're not allowed to do that to me.
They're almost crippled. They're a burning wreck.
Lovely. What do we got left? Oh good, we got the plasma torpedo launcher. That's lovely. Marines. He's got 8. Plasma torpedo. Right up his tailpipe. Follow the advice of Lieutenant Uhura. What scared you for a minute? You thought I was going to hit by that point-blank range? Nah. We're not that dumb. Okay, so we're going to capture, and I swear to God, if this game breaks right now, I'm going to go into skirmish mode. Whoops! I forgot to turn that off. Alright, now because it's the early era, it should work fine. Can't promise that, but early era generally does work fine. See? Perfect. 466 prestige. And that gets me up to 637. What is the current threshold of selling? 800, so I've got basically 600 more than I currently have. Do we want to do a destroyer or a light cruiser? The destroyer is not quite the right ship at the moment. It's currently a Constellation rather than the Cheyenne that it's supposed to be, but the light cruiser is a Centaur. And the Dreadnought is just out of reach at the moment, but it is also a custom ship. Let's go fix that, and we've got enough stuff. Back out. Decommission. Astrobase. No, go away. I'm not doing a defense mission. You want a Defiant? Yeah, we're not going to be here for we're going to have to be here for a while in order to get that, because the Defiant is an X-tier cruiser, or X-tier destroyer. So, yeah, that's not happening for some time. Push the neutral zone. Go say hi to the Klingons. I mean, if we started in the X era, which is something we could do. If you guys want, we can jump to a different era for the campaign and just sort of bounce around. This is mostly to show off the mod, so if there's anything you want to see out of the mod, let me know so we can show it off appropriately. Overload. I'll stop. Oh no, we can actually travel while overloading. Lovely. It's a speed of 4, but we can still do it. I'll bump that up. Sprague, of course, is suggesting we go to the advanced era, and unless a whole bunch of people are on board with him on that one, we're not going to do that until at the end when we go to the skirmish mode, just to sort of mess with things. Oh good, I thought for a moment that you were Romulan. Okay, we're spreading it out. I'm a sucker for the hero ships. Okay. See, the Sovereign we're not going to give her. What'd you miss? Nothing much so far. Just sort of us messing around. In fact, I'll give you the tour. This is our early heavy cruiser. It only shows up for the early era, but it is a Dominion War refit Constitution class, which I figured was reasonably appropriate. Originally, I had a... Oh, what did I have? I didn't have anything. I was struggling for the longest time to figure out just a decent heavy cruiser to use before we finally came up with this one. KD-6. Oh, crap. You've got drones galore. Luckily for me, I have a lot of photon torpedoes. An Intrepid is an NCL, the Defiant is an XCA, the Galaxy is a DNH, and the Sovereign is the BB. Oh, you little oh, I can't even use my phasers now. I have too many important targets. Luckily for me, though, you have no more forward shield. Alright, just drive right into him.
Tractor beams
Okay,
set.
good. Perfect, that worked out. So it took a little bit, but we were able to do it. Now we'll slow down to a speed of 4. We'll throw our reinforcement out to the stern. Oh, why? Actually, no, this works out perfectly. I'm doing a speed of 4 anyway. Oh, you don't like the... Ooh, see? Everybody, Sprague does not like the Sovereign. I believe that's fighting words in some languages. We're just gonna sit here and wait, and now we got a light cruiser coming along. Please don't be equipped with plasma torpedoes. I deliberately did not prepare a Wild Weasel shuttle. And if you have plasma torpedoes, I'm gonna have a really bad day. Which power of the forward shield do I got? None. So yeah, that's not great. Full power. It looks so mad. Aw, crap. He does have a plasma torpedo. More power. Run. Just make it go. Make the ship go faster. Must go faster. I think we're actually gonna get away. Haha. Nope. Nope, he's gonna fire. So how far can I drag out this plasma torpedo doing a speed of 16 and climbing? This is for all you math kids out there. Yeah, that's everything. Oh good, it dissipated before it actually reached me. That makes my life a lot easier. Can you and him fight just to make my life simpler? You know, I'll give you guys room, and you guys can play. Should have painted it red with racing stripes. Painted what red with racing stripes? Oh, the Sovereign? Yep. I mean, you could. If anybody is a texture artist or wants to become one, I can send you texture files for you to mess with. Although most of the ships with bad textures also have terrible models, so they're suffering a little bit in multiple departments. We'll just keep coming along. Probably, yeah, we'll drag out those missiles, no problem. I'd like to get my my photon torpedoes overloaded before we actually re-engage, so that I can just hit them with, you know, 3 trucks. Multiple trucks for all the fun. What's the texture? And the funny thing is, I don't know if that's a joke or a legitimate question. Alright, so that's 2 photon torpedoes, 3 photon torpedoes. Give me the 4th photon torpedo for free, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, we're good to go. Let's go kill somebody. Well, honestly, he's the more dangerous threat, if we're completely honest with ourselves, because he's got a plasma torpedo. Excelsior class is still in the game. There is the BCE, which is the Excelsior class, and so we decided that we were going to keep the BCE, and also because it made it way more easier on me. I've decided to use nebulas for the battlecruisers because they've got the modular weapon pack on back. So each different version of the battlecruiser has a different nebula, which thematically is very cool. But I didn't have a final one to go with it, so... Miranda is also still in, but only for the Miranda class, which is specifically called out at the moment. Also, I don't think all of our light cruisers have been selected, but we're working on that one. So really, you have the plasma torpedo still, so... But he is just so vulnerable. Hi. I come here with gifts. 3, 2, give me 2.5. Right now. Oh, 62 damage. Beautiful. Full powered engines. Is that fully ready? Because now we're not at a running speed anymore.
Releasing mine.
We are very much at a, if he fires that weapon, he's going to be the perfect... Oh no, he didn't charge it. Haha, lovely. Next mine, not ready. So he didn't charge it, which means we can just keep running. Yep. We will eventually get to the TNG era ships. Unfortunately, our early heavy cruiser is a Constitution, so we will be looking at more of them later. Steam Runner is also in. We're using that for the heavy war destroyers. What are there's several others. There's the Norway class, which we're using. There's the Achilles class, which we're using. There's the Akira, which we're using. There's the Saber, which we're using, and the Steam Runner, which we're using. So really, we're using all of the Dominion warships. Or not Dominion War, but the Borg, the anti-Borg ships. And we'll increase the speed of time as we sort of hover out of the distance of the fight. The Norway? Yeah, the Norway's going to be in. It's actually, well, depending on what options come up, we could actually see that in a relatively regular course of play. So, probably should have started in the medium era just to sort of show off all the stuff, because all the early stuff is things like this Dominion Warfare refit Constitution and the Akiazi and the Okinawa and all those sorts of things, because I wanted to have some continuity like that. Using Dominion warships to dominate the battle. I don't actually have any Dominion battleships as of yet, but eventually. You are so harmless that you can't hurt anybody. You, on the other hand, could hurt people, and so we've removed you from having that chance. You are being rescued. Please do not resist. And we'll just capture this ship. For the sake of money. We need money so we can show off our later era warships. Yep, we're doing that, Spro. No worries. Just gonna blast you with everything I've got. Oh, of course you're gonna be difficult about it. Photon torpedoes to normal mode? Actually, I don't need them anymore, so really photon torpedoes to offline. We're done with them. We're here just to steal the vessel. Good. Send in the Marines. Thank you. What's the Equinox class? It's a Nova, and yes, that is also in. It was incredibly hard to find a good Nova. And even the Nova I've got, I'm not super happy with. but apparently people either don't like it or don't model it very often, because I've got 3 or 4 different ones. Several of them are identical, and they're all, well, most of them except for like 2 or 3 are pretty terrible. So finding a good Nova, now that was a nightmare and a half. Not as bad as finding the good New Orleans, but definitely not easy. Also, if I can find a good Springfield, that would be awesome. There's a good Cheyenne, but not a good Springfield, which is kind of irritating, because the Springfield actually has a fairly cool hull setup that I'm quite the fan of. Also, I need to get a new DNL. The current light dreadnought that we have is the 2nd or 3rd light dreadnought that I've gone through that I just have not been happy with. Oh good, surprise reversed. If we capture ships in a surprise reversed, are they destroyed or do they come over to my side? I forget. In any event, we don't have much time, and they're Romulan. Great. Full speed. We're going to overload the photon torpedoes, because if we don't hit them hard enough, then we're not going to succeed. This much is known to be fact. And that frees up some power. Get there quickly. We don't have a ton of power. Oh, these photon torpedoes, they take forever to charge. What are we actually going after? Freighter, a frigate, a frigate, a frigate, a frigate. So apparently a freighter, and I don't believe that for a second. Romulans and freighters, don't make me laugh. But how many Marines do you got? That'll be the real important question. You got 10, 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so we can capture the little ships. He would not be so easy, so we'll probably just alpha strike the crap out of him and see if we can't go in for a capture. It'll take 2 runs with a transporter to steal a ship unless we get a decent phaser overrun, but I don't have enough weapon systems in order to actually pull off a decent phaser overrun. So we're going to hit this guy with a ton of brakes, then we'll go through, try and capture the K4RB. I mean, look at the number of plasma torpedoes this guy's got. 3 of them! Okay, that's not a lot, but, you know, it's the early era. 60 damage is pretty terrifying. Hello, my friend. 5, 4, 3, give me 2.5. Because that's when my photon torpedoes would hurt me. Ooh, only half. Not great. 7. Ooh, actually, could come back and try and steal you. No, no, execute the plan. Do not be foolish. Do not be tempted. Just stay nice and slow and kill him, steal him. We're actually going to steal as many ships as we can possibly manage. Need to get back here. Give me back of the range. Just shoot. At this point, just shoot. Got it. You can hear my incredibly rapid tapping. Oh crap, one of them turned on. That was my fear. Okay, he's dead. You are mine. Where's the snipe that activated? You are there. And you, let me guess, your plasma torpedo systems are online. Photon torpedoes to normal, free up some power. Aw, crap, I wasted an entire overloaded photon torpedo, and then I also wasted that. But, if you're going to fire a plasma torpedo in stealth... It did not work out quite as well as I'd planned, but it did work out nonetheless. Get over here, and we're going to go through the same thing. We're going to run in, hit him with phasers, and... yeah, go for a capture again. Because it's an effective strategy. Yeah, I've almost got you. With any luck, I can knock 2 people off this one. Okay, and we'll have to fight 2 snipes. So get nice and close. Didn't kill anybody. Send in the Marines anyway. Okay, we got it down to 3. And now it's 3 to 2. So I'm going to need to get another transport run in there. Oh, 2 to 2. We have a chance. So we'll turn. So there's a chance that our crew can beat them. If they manage to actually get the 1 victory off this. And that'll actually be 2 snipes stolen, which would be pretty fun. Got a photon torpedo ready to go. Do I fire any more, or do I try and get in transport? Okay, I've got a decoy. So we've got that protection. Are you mine yet? Not yet. Better hope to soon. And... more Marines. Just to guarantee. There, we've made sure. The both of those ships will be ours. Oh, crap. I'll stop. Okay, that worked. That worked out okay. And we hit him with a photon torpedo. Good. So we've captured 1 ship, which should be activating any time now, I hope. And then we'll need to capture a 2nd soon. Are you just cloaking on me? Or are you cloaking? I heard somebody cloak or decloak. You decloaked. Okay, probe. I don't know if that's real or not anymore.
I'll stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna risk... Oh, it was real. How lovely. That could have been much worse than it ended up being.
Executing
Arcs on these
high energy
phasers are
turn.
ridiculous. Let's get ready to turn in here. Wait a second. Aren't you mine? You're mine now. Alright, so now I've got 2 ships on my side, right? Good. Are you just not doing anything? Because I would appreciate it if you started doing things. Full speed. If he's gonna mess around at speeds like this, I can do stuff to him. You can go just kill people, activate, murder, death, and all that. I dare you to. I double dog dare you. Photon torpedo, phaser follow-up, get through. They're only snipes. As long as you can avoid the damage of the plasma torpedo, they're only snipes. That is the important thing to remember. Although I am kind of curious as to what I'll change the snipes out for, because I have a bunch of Romulan ships that we will end up using. Ah, crap.
Probe away.
Can you come at a cloak, please? Please? Charge. F1. It immediately resets. Don't know why, but it does. Okay, he's traveling. Oh, crap. I forgot. Snipes are super irritating. Because they can't actually travel at a high enough speed to set off mines, so you have to set it off yourself, which is just irritating to work with. Alright, just max the speed of time this. We're gonna sit here and just continue to blink away at him, and eventually he'll die. Where do you think you're going? You know what? Oh good, all of my ships have become active. Come close to me, and target only what I target.
Your target.
He's the last guy left, so blow him apart. And can I get rid of this? Oh yeah. There we go. Come out. I would try a capture, but I don't think I have enough Marines to actually pull it off. We got 1, and then I've got at least a couple in the other ships, which might actually be able to do the job, all things considered. And he's not even charging his plasma torpedo. That's the extra irritating part about it. Just get me lined up with him. Sit here and we'll plink away at him all day. Just sit right like so. And I'm just gonna follow you. You know, I've been doing a speed of 1, so I'm gonna have to manually control my speed back and forth. Close and slow down. Once we get through the shield, then we can start actually doing stuff to him. Although he can turn faster than me, because 1, he's a frigate, and 2, he's Romulan, which makes him fairly maneuverable. There we go, we're in. Now it's just a matter of time. A little bit more. Although I do have a question, what the hell are Romulans doing way out over here? Seems to be like a not thing to do, or have been done. Like, I get it, they've got a trade thing going on. There we go. Now we're going for the gas. So we captured 2 Romulan ships and blew up the rest. I hope that they give me more than 300 prestige. If not, I'm going to be very irritated for spending all those Marines on nothing. I need, what, 15,000? Or 1,500? They're doing Romulan things. Alright, we only got 300 prestige for that, so pro tip, do not ever capture Romulans on a mission like that. Hi, supply, what do you got? Actually, not supply. 791 if we sold it. I am at... I could have a CAR, which is what I'm in, so that's not particularly helpful. CL Plus, which I think is an Intrepid? And an FFG, that should be... Yeah, I think the CL Plus is an Intrepid. Do we find out, or do we just keep saving? For, say, a CC Plus, which I know for a fact is not an Intrepid. Although I don't think I upgraded the command cruisers just yet. Let's go find out what the Stephens is. That's early? What's early? Can we get a mission or something? There we go. Took us a little while. Can we get a mission that's not likely to bug the game out? Apparently not? Jeez. Take a monster mission. It's one of the worst missions you can possibly take with friendly units because the AI is really dumb.
Battle station.
No, it's not. Holy shoot, I didn't realize that it was that big. So that's our light cruiser. That's the Centaur. Little bit bigger than I thought it was. So we're gonna have to do something about that. Cause that's like dreadnought size. Wow. That hull is ridiculous. I didn't quite realize it was gonna be that huge. Oh boy. Yeah. We're gonna have to sell that double quick because that's totally useless. I mean, it's a nice model, but it's not worth having. And also because it's completely dwarfing our vessel. A lot of the sizes are gonna have to be worked on, actually, because of problems like that. Great. It's the worst possible monster to actually have to fight. Sure, it's a small asteroid monster, but it's still a monster. Oh, that's irritating and painful. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in and manually edit some sizes in order to get the models to all match up. That's gonna be a pain. Because that requires me to build fleets of ships next to each other. I don't want to do that. But we will. I mean, that's kind of the point of the mod. But it just means that it'll be slower. Fire! Hey, we got a hit. It doesn't have any shields, that sort of helps out a bit. I want you to engage in special mode, because that will cause you to engage with proximity photon torpedoes. And I'm going to deal with this monster first, and you can go kill that monster, I suppose. Although, to be fair, we will also use phasers against him, which he's vulnerable to, because he only has 2 other weapons. Okay, show me him. 2 hits, okay, start working on that. That is an interesting plan that you had, sir. And a bad one, too, by the way. Don't do that. Oh, he's totally worthless now. He's got nothing. Nothing! Should probably increase your weapons. Will you not do that? This ship is expensive. More expensive than your ship at any rate. So please don't break it. Well, it's supposed to be... The Centaur is supposed to be about the size of an Excelsior saucer, if not smaller. And it is described very much as a light cruiser. Oh crap, I didn't realize that was an R. Oh well, he fired... Actually no, he's got a pair of Fs as well. Increase speed and run away. I'm not gonna risk the ship. Photon torpedoes... Normal mode. Hey look, I'm risking the ship. Oh boy. Go engage him in normal mode, please. You can use your photon torpedoes. So is the instructor supposed to be weaker than the ship? Kind of, but not really.
They've taken moderate damage.
It's a... Oh, that's why it's not. The Intrepid's an NCL, a new light cruiser. So no, the Intrepid would be stronger than the ship just by virtue of having better weapons. But it is a smaller ship than this one. I would take an NCL against one of these. I think it would make more sense and be safer. But yeah, this is only supposed to be the size of an Excelsior saucer section, which when you take off of the rest of the ship should be actually fairly small. He's basically dead. You can give it to us now. It is. At least it's supposed to. I'm just saying that the model's currently wrong. We're gonna have to modify that a little bit. Gotta modify several things, actually. You're surprised it's not a heavy cruiser? It's a small science ship designed for rapid scouting maneuvers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Intrepid is a small scouting ship. Oh, you're surprised that's not... The Intrepids are not that big at all. MET-6 patrol, that's new. Trade in the Steffens. I don't want it. I want something a little bit more advanced. Apply, repair, mission. Give me that MET-6. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. Yeah, very much the low-key stream today.
Red alert.
What do we got? The Double Jinx. Double Jinx is not all that interesting. I don't care about you. But yeah, the pirates will be getting a raider, and also there is a battle star, which I kind of want to slip in here somewhere. I'm just not sure where. Probably going to end up becoming the pirate heavy carrier. Just as a throwback, because several of the people in the Discord are actually from a Battlestar Galactica Discord, which Sprogue himself brought over, and so I figure I may as well throw them a bone. I'm not against the show, I just don't find it incredibly interesting. So. What's going on here? Oh wow, lots of stuff. Let's go back to this. Thank you. What do we got? We're looking at a heavy cruiser. It is you. Send the probe. Prepare the, never mind, I was about to prepare the Wild Weasel shuttle, but we don't got any. So we're just gonna have to deal with what we've got, which is unfortunate. overload the plasma torpedoes. Just in case. Oh, good. Looks like we have enough power to actually run the ship. Increase the speed of time. Oh, good. He is a Lyran-inspired Marak. An ESG and 4 missile A's. So I do have a Cardassian fleet, and I really do want to use it somewhere. The question is, what does it replace? Because I'd rather not replace my Marak with the Cardassians. First of all, I don't think it quite fits, and second of all, I have a TNG Marak set. It's not great, but it's okay. There are definitely better versions of it. Or, actually, no, there might not be, but I kind of wish there would be. Hi, buddy.
Tractor beams
I don't care. I'm gonna hit you with a truck. It's a nice truck, too. Oh, he activated the ESG. Get away! Oh, he didn't. Oh, that was him overloading. It was a dumb decision. We'll just slow down, let the system fully recharge, and then we'll maneuver back in when the time is right. Because we have more than enough weapon systems to sort of hold them at bay. Oh! That's cute. There we go. What do you have as modern heavy cruisers? See, that was one of the things, just the general heavy cruiser class in general is something that I've really been struggling with. And, for the modern heavy cruisers, standard make the spoonheads the pirates, I don't think that would work. I mean, I could, but I'd rather not. I'd rather make someone like the Borg the pirates. Or the Borg are going to be the monsters anyway. Because I have full Borg, and I'm excited about it. The modern heavy cruiser was actually one of the ones that I had a little bit of trouble coming up with, because I just didn't know what sort of fit. And what we ended up going with was the Norway class is actually the standard heavy cruiser. Jesus Christ. The Achilles class is the new heavy cruiser. And then there's the X ships, which are all sovereign-based versions of vessels. So, I'd like to give the Cardassians a specific race, but I don't know what. Because I'd like them to be a reasonably okay race, so i.e. not the Lyrans. But I can't, like, guarantee anything like that. I tried to make them the Gorn. People were not having it. I think I mentioned that earlier. So people very much like their Gorn, and they believe that the Gorn should be utilized as a full proper race, whereas I think the lizard people are somewhat ridiculous and wouldn't mind seeing them being replaced with humble tailors. Alright, see you later, Alex. You have a good one. ISC? I thought about it. I didn't want to irritate Thornbush, though. Because Thornbush likes the ISC a lot. And I don't think he'd be very appreciative of us removing his favorite race from the game.
They've taken moderate damage.
I am just stunned at how much damage they're taking. The Intrepid has 14 phases. No, it's not. The Intrepid is much too light when you start looking at TNG stuff. It's not a heavy cruiser. Let's send in the Marines, or would he kill them? Yeah, we don't have any Marines, I forgot. But we've got him mostly handled at this point. So, point blank range, you can't use any sort of mines or missiles on me. Got him. Hydrants, don't think anyone miss them. Oh. You know, I don't think Mavrim's in the stream right now, but if he were, he would challenge you to a duel to the death right now. Alright, so we're at 13, so we've almost recovered how much we had. Galactic Survey Cruiser is 1914, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, but the galaxy's bigger and more powerful. Galaxies are dreadnoughts, man. The DDL, I don't know which destroyer that is. Much very much. He is here! Hi, Mav! Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. So we need about 3,000 prestige. Ugh, it's gonna take forever. Supply. Fix my ship. Give me more Marines. We're gonna steal more people and you can't stop us. Although I am kind of sad now that I didn't have the time to switch the Constellation over to being like the support warship. What I'm saying is that the Intrepid would have a dock. It's not a heavy cruiser though. It's not. It's a light cruiser, and that's where it shall stay. And when we get to phase 2, then we can change things like that. But yeah. So in phase 2, we shall modify things to be a little bit more, I guess, set up. I'm not quite sure how I'd describe it. We got a C6. Okay, slow down. Get me photon torpedoes to overload mode. We're gonna do a gun run. Plasma, or phaser. Alright, so let's... Anything else I need to set up in advance for this? I don't think so. Alright, so we just need to scan this guy and run, but it'd be awesome if we could steal him. Which, because he's a D6, I think we can do it. Set a probe just to confirm, but I think we've got the capability. Yes, the Federation has no heavy cruisers. The Federation has the Norway. Alright, so you've got 4 missile launchers and a whole host of phasers and disruptors. You're going to be irritating, but I think we can take it. Can't think of a heavier ship that ain't a B. The Norway. The Achilles. Certain refits of the Constitution class. Not the Andor class. Yeah, the Intrepids are light cruisers. They're meant for high-speed, long-range missions. Not as heavy cruisers, but as skirmishing units. Skirmishers and scouts would be the way to go. I should do this, just so I have it all ready to go. Oh, you little jerk. Kill that. Thank you. Alright, so we've gotten that taken care of. Hey, I have all the data that I require. And you've cleaned me. Thank you. So the frontal shield is down. We're through him. How many Marines you got on board? 24? Yeah, we're done with you. Thank you for playing, but I'm gone. Okay. Yellow alert.
Yellow alert.
And give me... Oh yeah, I can't actually hit that maximum speed with my shields up, and I don't dare drop them. Norway is a destroyer, Intrepid is a scout. Norway is described as a medium cruiser. At least in the fluff that I read. Okay, he's actually outrunning us, but his zigzag maneuvers are actually going to kill him. Now, we could just kill this guy, like we have the capability. Do we want to do that, or do we just want to run away so we can get to another mission? We should receive an okay amount of prestige for successfully destroying this guy, but, I mean, we probably would earn a lot if we actually went out our way and blew him into little tiny pieces. Like, we can do it. The Federation Heavy Cruiser has that capability and flexibility. It just would take forever. Cruiser and Scout, smaller tonnage, smaller crew than Intrepid. Yeah, but some more advanced ship. Intrepids are science vessels, man. Where is the edge of the map, speaking of? Somewhere around here. You know what, Sprogue? If you want, you can put it up to a vote in the Starfleet Command channel on our Discord. So, and then we can have people vote on whether or not they think the Intrepid is a heavy cruiser. And if it does, then I will swap the heavy cruiser. Although, honestly, what I do want to do is I do want to find a heavy cruiser, something good, not the Intrepid, Sprogue, so that I can swap out the Norway, because I want the Norway to be the fast cruiser. Norways are more advanced. So I want the Norway to be the fast cruiser, honestly, although if Sprogue's poll actually wins, which, I'm serious, Sprogue, throw it up in the Discord, and we'll have people vote on it.
Go to war.
Akira, see, that's the thing. The Akiras are X-type heavy cruiser. Like, I originally thought about making it the normal heavy... Actually, no, originally I thought it should be the X heavy cruiser, and then I started looking at it, and I kind of want something that has a little bit more influence from the Sovereign line. But the Akira right now is our X heavy cruiser. But if someone comes up with an idea for next heavy cruiser, I would gladly swap the Akira down to heavy cruiser status. Although that would mean that the Akira was considered to be a smaller vessel than the Nebula, and that just seems wrong on so many levels. Battle Station Galactic Heavy Cruiser. Like, why are you so expensive? You have 3 missiles and 2 photon torpedoes. You are not an expensive ship. At least you shouldn't be. That's 162 BPV. It's almost as much as a dreadnought for reasons that I cannot comprehend. Come down over here. But yeah, Sprogue, the poll would just be, do you think that should the Intrepid be a heavy cruiser or a light cruiser? That's all that you need to have. Supply. Fix. No, we're good. We're good. And shuttles. That's the thing we're missing. We need shuttles in case we run into more Romulans. Trixie Romulans. Let's go play in a black hole. Or is it a nebula? I don't know. Pop over here. Kira class is tiny? What? Let me go check this. so that we can quite figure out just what sort of nonsense you are spouting. On the wrong memory, aren't I? Yeah, that's memory alpha. Memory alpha is great for canon sources, terrible if you're actually looking up fluff on starships. Go see here. Kira class is auxiliary class armaments, length of 464 meters with a width of 316. Intrepid. And the Intrepid class is... Where is the enemy? Oh, somewhere off there. Apparently there's a version of the Intrepid that is a Constitution. 344 meters. So 100 meters shorter and 200 meters thinner is the Intrepid. Alright, there's our heavy cruiser. By the way, we're being escorted today by the Simpsons pen. Not quite sure what that means, but I'm assuming it means something. Got a D7 Bravo. You're looking at mass? I don't think you quite... 700,000 metric tons on the Intrepid versus... Keep hitting the back button until I get the right one. 3,055,000 metric tons. What mass measurement are you looking at? Cause I gotta say, I think you missed something. Yeah, the Akiras are over 3 million tons, with the Intrepids are 700,000 tons. So, a little bit of a difference there. I wish I had taken the time to fix the D7, although, here's the problem with doing the Klingons. The D7s do show up in Deep Space Nine as a full-on warship. The Vorchas don't fully replace them. So... there's basically 4 Klingon ships in all of Deep Space Nine that we see, and those being the Bird of Prey, the Vorcha, the Negvar, and the D7. And then, of course, we get the, God, what's the other one? The one with, it's basically a Burrell with the wings raised up and bigger. That one. If anybody can remember what it is. I do this for a living. What's the heavy cruiser right now, other than the Norway? So the Norway is the heavy cruiser, the new heavy cruiser is the Achilles, and then the ex-heavy cruiser is the Akira. And the early heavy cruiser is a Dominion War refit Constitution. So that will allow us to basically play lots of games. The Savage versus the Simpsons pen. Simpsons pen can actually probably get through his defenses if he used a scatter pack at the same moment. We should really get in there and save him, shouldn't we? I get the feeling that having a buddy on this mission would be super helpful. So let's just increase the time. Would you come back here, Simpsons pen, so I can, you know, help you out? I've got photon torpedoes. They're overloaded. It's going to be great. I'll just basically look at him and his shields will disappear like a magic trick. 3, 2, 1, and... Hey, look, his shields disappeared. Forward shield survived. What looks terrible, bro? This ship actually is really nice. And we can see the big phaser banks, or phaser arrays that replace the phaser banks on it. I mean, the guy who did this model actually did a really good job. See, the Ambassador class we're using for our early dreadnought. So... because the Ambassadors are supposed to be long-range exploration ships with firepower that's comparable to a heavy cruiser, which exactly describes the early dreadnought in Starfleet Command, because it's literally got like 2 more phasers than the normal heavy cruiser. It's just bigger so it can go further. We need to slow way down so we can actually charge up all of our systems. So we're going to let you guys play. Simpsons fan, keep him busy. Oh, excellent job. See, the Simpsons fan already has knocked out his rear shield. This is the sort of skill that you can expect only from Marak captains. He's managing to handle this very nicely, actually. Although the mind trick might get him. He may not be able to defeat that. Okay, we're back on. So let's just get nice and close. Oh, 52 damage, plus an additional 73 plus 6, nice. 79 damage in total, 52 of which was our photon torpedoes, and we have knocked out his point defense system as well as his, whatchamacallit, his thingamabop, shuttle bay. I increased the speed of the ship, because we've managed to hurt him quite badly, and I am keen to continue the engagement. Slow down to the speed of 4 so I can actually charge all my weapon systems. Oh no! Alright, how many crew do you have left? 8. Okay, I can deal with this. Oh, I was a little bit too close. Didn't mean to do that. Photon torpedoes to offline. And this system to phasers. So let's steal another ship. Norway is quite light, even more so than the Intrepid. Is it? The Norway is described as a heavy cruiser. You really seem keen on making the Intrepid a heavy cruiser, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why. Like, the Intrepid is not that impressive of a ship. It's a small scout. It was designed for small scouting stuff. See if I can't stay behind him. 4 Marines, 3 Marines. Just give me 2 more Marines and I can take it. It's still 3 Marines. Oh, the Norways? Yeah, but the Norway is a more advanced design. That's the real thing. I thought for a second you said Achilles. Yeah. Yeah, I was getting confused with the Achilles. Yeah, the Norway is a medium cruiser, but it's a more advanced design, and it's designed as a warship. The Cavort? Is that the, yeah, that's the one with the wings that are up high. There's not a medium cruiser for the Federation in this game, though. So, things get bumped up a bit. Alright, so we've got this guy. That'll help out. Even more prestige. I'd like to be able to get one of those ambassadors, because it's a very nice model. And I'd like to show it off before we, jump ourselves into the section of the stream where we just go into the skirmish mode just to mess with things. And I try and figure out exactly all the classes that I have. But yeah, our biggest gaps right now are carriers. And, of course, the current heavy cruiser is still a placeholder. So, and no, Sprague, I don't intend to make it Intrepid unless everybody on the Discord agrees with you, and I doubt that they will. But I could be wrong. It could turn out that everybody in the Discord shows up and like, no, the Intrepid is a heavy cruiser. Intrepid, in fact, should be your dreadnought. What insanity are you peddling? It could happen. I don't think it'll, but it could. Alright, what do we got? A holding action will take us to...
Red alert.
Oh, that too. We've got a D5, a heavy cruiser, and we're being escorted today by the Fokker, which is, as you can see... yes, there it is. Our little Nova. Give me the right bloody camera. There we go. That'll do. Should replace the Norway? Well, the Norway is our heavy cruiser right now. So, it's the Norway... See, as you can see, we're having a little bit of trouble finding a really good, whatchamacallit, thingamabob? Nova class. For what? In terms of introduction? Laurendale, are you on his side? How dare you? Although I do agree that I don't want the Norway to be my primary heavy cruiser. That's why it's a placeholder. I want the Norway to be my, my fast cruiser. Wrong button. I want this button. So we're just gonna blitz on through, get to the end of this mission because it pays out better that way. Huh, interesting. So then, what do we do about the heavy cruiser? Because the Intrepid's not becoming the heavy cruiser. That much I can guarantee you, because it's a scout ship. But I'm more than... I suppose the, So what's the tonnage of the Norway versus the Intrepid? Oh, I forgot. Go to yellow alert. Give me a little bit more speed. That's what I was worried about. I think I can make it out of here, though. Oh good, the F-shield is back. I think the Ambassador makes the most sense as the default heavy cruiser. It's too big. The Ambassador is our early dreadnought. Because the Ambassador and the Galaxy are sort of built along the same lines as being the dreadnought type. And the reason why the Ambassador is the early dreadnought is because of its extreme range. 622k versus 700k? So moving it up to a fast cruiser then. Or a new fast cruiser. I don't know if the new fast cruiser is a thing. But we could find out. Chat's failing to update. So the Norway is older and lighter. I suppose we could definitely move the Norway into the new light cruiser category. And that means bumping the Intrepid. The Intrepid would be bumped up to the new fast cruiser. Because part of the Intrepid is the fact that it's supposed to be a fairly fast ship. So I wouldn't give them the heavy cruiser slot, because that's reserved for something that will wow and blow me away. But yeah, unfortunately the ambassador's too big. It really kind of is. What do we got to fight here? Heavy cruiser, what's this? Oh good, PL9. Overload the... Target him. Give him a probe. Crap. I don't know if I can do this overloaded. And without friends, this becomes much more difficult. It's definitely not a light cruiser if the Norway is heavy one. Well, if what you're saying is correct, then the right thing to do would be to swap the would be to move the Intrepid up to the fast cruiser slot, and I'm okay with that. The Norway's still going to be in the heavy cruiser slot as a placeholder then. Remember, Alpha has it classified as a heavy cruiser. Which one? Norway is classed as a destroyer. I thought the Steamrunner was a destroyer. That's why I've got the Steamrunner there. Put this to here, and this to this. Photon torpedoes to overload. Let the damage bounce. And Marines, how well endowed? 14 and 14, so that's going to make life a little bit more difficult than I'd like it to be. Oh, the Ambassador? So, here's the thing you got to remember about heavy cruisers in Starfleet Command. Or early dreadnoughts in Starfleet Command. Early dreadnoughts in Starfleet Command are basically early battle cruisers or just really big heavy cruisers. The difference between those two things is very negligible. Steamrunner's a light cruiser. So what you're saying is bring the Norway down to the heavy war destroyer level. Actually no, because the heavy war destroyers are classified as light cruisers, which is why I put them there. So I wouldn't quite want to do that. Because it would mean losing a very, very nice ship that I like a lot. Because right now the Norway is a heavy war destroyer class. And the heavy war destroyers are technically classified as light cruisers by the game. Yes, bro, we know this. Oh, I'm not sure I can actually fight this. It's maybe a little bit too much. In fact, I know for a fact it's too much. 2d7s versus a single CAR. That's not a fight that we win. I don't even have any weapons available at the moment. Yeah, we got a bug.
Yellow alert.
Yellow alert. Full powered engines. And mines are not ready, but that's okay. If I can race them up to speed before they can get to me, we might be able to do something.
Stabilizing warp core.
Again, don't go to Memory Alpha. Hey, Memory Alpha is great for cannon sources. Holy crap, the D7's capable of hitting a speed of 31 and charging the phaser capacitor.
Mine deployed.
There we go. Now we got them bugged. Where is my map edge, please? Oh, there it is. All over the place. Yeah, we really can't afford to take this on just yet. Although we have enough cash to get ourselves into a next level heavy cruiser, which would be a Norway, which Sproke would hate. So I'm comfortable with the Steamrunner being where it is. The heavy war destroyers are considered very well fit. They're considered to be light cruisers by the game in terms of, you know, setup. So that makes a lot of sense for that. The Norway can come down. The Norway would move to light cruiser levels because, honestly, the light cruiser is actually less powerful than the heavy war destroyers in this game. So that would work out. The Intrepid gets bumped up to the fast cruiser or a new fast cruiser. We'll have to double check on that one to see what's available. Actually, now is kind of the time to do that. We could do a quick monster mission. 18 for the CAR plus, 2125 for the fast cruiser, which I don't have anything for at the moment. CC plus DNL. DNL is also something I have a DNL, it's just I'm not happy with it. And the DDG should be... What did I have as a DDG? So the CC Plus would probably show us the Norway. But the DDG should show us... something slightly different. What about the Jaeger? I don't have a good Jaeger. Like, it's really irritating me because the one good Jaeger I have has an incomplete texture. There we go. Oh, it's a Constellation class. The Constellation's being moved. Right now, the Constellation is serving as the destroyer. It will not be shortly. The Constellation is being moved to the carrier class because you can see, look at all these bloody hangar bays on this thing. It's also been suggested that it take over for the Commandos, although I have a Chandley class that I want to use for that instead. Oh wow, multiple monsters. I don't want to deal with this. Do we want to save this campaign and do this as sort of like our new Wednesday thing, or do you guys want to just... I don't know. Because after this monster fight, I'm going to be moving over to a, we're going to be moving over to skirmishes, just so we can pick up ships to sort of look at them and blast them into a couple of things. We'll do that for about a half hour. So you need to be set to special weapons mode. So you'll keep your distance. And this one. Yes. And we can do the same. Oh wow, he's currently sitting at maximum electronic countermeasure. He wasn't doing that last time. Stop him! Alright, how much power do I have available at the moment? Pretty much nothing. Oh, I do, okay. So I am actually cruising around at the proper speed for this. So speed of 15 while just zipping around on lobbing. Yeah, but I actually don't have a good Jaeger, which is kind of irritating. Because I have a fantastic Raider and a great Intrepid, but I do not have a Jaeger that is worth anything. And a lot of those Jaegers actually use the fantastic Raider that I have as sort of like its base, which is really amazing. More speed. More speed and run. More speed. Ow. Well, we're alive. Trip down, trip down. Oh, good combo. Those should be fake, but apparently they weren't. Despite the fact... Oh, no, you used it all on him. Why would you bother? He's one of the worst monsters. I'm way too close for this, but you know what? We're going in for guns. You. And his R-type plasma torpedo is ready to go. Jeez, man, you're gonna get yourself killed. I just bought you two. Alright, so let's just get right on top of this guy and we'll hurt him. I actually think the Constellation looks very nice. I think it works quite nicely in this mod. Too close for missiles? It's a good thing we don't have any. Alright, so he's taken care of. Are you taken care of? Not yet, but you're about to be. Just gonna focus on you from now on. Okay, you're almost dead. Just a couple more phaser shots. Lost. You're dead. Apparently, he smashed into it. That's the story. I'm sticking to it. Line up this one. And then after this battle, we will go in and... good, photon torpedoes. We're gonna go into skirmish mode. We're gonna take a look at a bunch of the other ships. So, put in the chat which ship you want to see first, although I can't guarantee that I have all of them. But I think I'll start with the Galaxy, and then we'll sort of move on from there. Because after all, it is the Galaxy. Alright, so we're going to save this as TNG campaign. Save. Sprogue wants the Intrepid. Sprogue is obsessive. He has a poster of Janeway in his room and everything. You've been outvoted, Sprogue. Galaxy it is. Skirmish mode. Customize. Yeah, we'll fight a Klingon D7. That'll be totally fair. We need to step this up to dreadnoughts. And we'll go with the D, as long as it's not a DNX or DNH. That's my Galaxy. So this one is different than the other one, and we'll show both of them. It's a good looking ship.
Red alert.
So here is our Galaxy, which I will attempt to give us an entire 360 spin before the enemy's actually on top of us, but he is moving quite quickly. Right there, that's our speed. Yeah, we had quite a few Galaxies to pick from. It's one of the more common ships for people to do. Several of them are really janky. There are several of them that are really nice, and this was one of the really nice ones. There's coffee in that nebula. Yeah, this Galaxy's great. I really like it. I was very happy with it. Although it's a little bit small, I think. I think we need to modify the size a bit, although I haven't done like size comparisons as of yet. That is something that I still need to get around to doing. So, and you can tell I have all my weapon groups set up thanks to all of the testing that I did. So, open fire with missiles. Yeah, I know, missiles on a galaxy. We're gonna have to get over it. So, most of the weapon ports aren't gonna line up properly, so it's not like they're all gonna be firing from the forward photon torpedo tube or anything. But this ship should be capable of handling this guy. Oh, already tore apart. Point defense systems, which honestly look a lot like the antimatter spread from Best of World. Jeez. Oh, why can't I remember the name? The Borg episode. We all know it. So the antimatter spread that the saucer section puts out is a distraction. What about the Galaxy Dreadnought? You see, Laurendale, I'm glad that you asked that question, because we're about to kill our little friend over here, which will set up the next ship that we have. So come around, give him some phasers, and he's dead. See, it's funny that you ask about the Galaxy X, because you see, there's a DNH-X in this game. Now, granted, the X refit is only for the X-type phaser, but I really just couldn't resist. So, we did
Battle stations.
this. Now, as you can see, it's not quite as nice as our other Galaxy, but it is still pretty nice. So here's our Galaxy X. I am going to be looking to see if there's a better Galaxy X out there, because it's a fairly cool ship, and I am a fan of the Galaxy X. Sprog is clearly not, as you can hear his use, but he's in fact wrong. But yeah, this needs a little bit of work. There needs to be a slightly better one out there. Why are you upset, Sprog? Yeah, not quite as high quality as the other one. I am looking into that. There are a couple of Dominion War mods that also have one that I'm going to be checking to see if I can't get my hands on to work for that. Oh, it's an F5CR. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm just easily picking off all the enemy defenses. Phasers to overload. Photon torpedoes. Phaser follow-up. And he's dead. In no time at all. What's that on the saucer? It's an enhanced weapons package. First Galaxy was not a Dominion refit model, just saying. I have one of those. I didn't know what to do with it since there's no interim Galaxy ship model, which is one of the reasons why I kind of figured that I should make a DNH capital X to make that the Galaxy Dreadnought, and then use the Dominion War refit in order to get the phaser strips on the nacelles themselves. Because that is an option. I have one. We shall now look at the Sovereign, just because it's massive and, well, it's not the best Sovereign that not the best Sovereign, but I'm definitely still in the market looking for one. So, as you can see, not quite as pretty as the other ones. Apparently Sovereign's not quite as popular as Galaxy classes. Make the Phaser Lance model with 4 phaser 4 banks? Nah, that might be a bit much. Well, what I could do is put on like an ESG Lance or something like that. That would make a certain amount of sense. Oh, I forgot I hadn't set this up properly because I didn't test out the Sovereign all that much. I didn't think there was a need to. And it's a Sovereign. What more is it going to do? So you're dead and you just haven't realized it. So missiles. Oh, the photon torpedoes actually work out very nicely. There's a picturesque shot. Could have been a thumbnail right there if I weren't changing the speed of time at the exact moment. Now, the next ship class is going to be really, really ugly, and I understand that. But thematically it works. And I didn't have much else of another option. And it kind of made a certain amount of sense. You're just going to have to, like, sort of deal with the ugliness.
Red alert.
This thing is the Missouri class, which, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan. But it looks the part for the most part, with having a massive gut for a hangar bay. But if this is an ugly ship, then this is an ugly ship. So let's see if we can't just wipe this guy out in short order so I can get onto other ships. 3 times there so I can get my launches lined up.
Acknowledge. Line defense.
2,
Affirmative. We'll cover you.
4. Sproke just doesn't like anything. Sproke is not a fan of Star Trek in general, so he has no desire for any of these vessels whatsoever. Yeah, this is our battleship carrier.
We're going in.
It looks like a pelican. Yeah, I suppose that's a reasonable statement. It kind of does. Second, Oberth had a baby with the Enterprise. Borg, not in yet. I have Borg models, I haven't put them in just yet. Although they will be in. I'm currently planning on changing the monsters into Borg. Or at least the Andromedans. Alrighty, so now we move on to... Do I have a heavy carrier in yet? I don't think I do. Can't remember if I put the heavy carrier in yet. Sprook wants a battle mech carrier. Some pie, somebody cut the slice now. All the dreadnoughts should be the same. Actually, no, they're not. There's 2 dreadnoughts.
Red alert.
So this is our ambassador class. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super thrilled about this one. It said that it was an ambassador class refit on it, which is the reason why I ended up gravitating towards it. That and the model itself is gorgeous. The texture just isn't as quite alive as the other one. But look at that deflector dish. It's beautiful. Really, this model is absolutely lovely, and I like it a lot. It's just that the texture kind of lets it down a little bit because it doesn't have light maps or something. There's just something slightly wrong with it. But it is a beautiful ship. But as you can see, it's not particularly well equipped or armed with heavy weapons. So, it's basically just a big heavy cruiser. There's really nothing else to it, which is one of the reasons why the Ambassador ended up being the dreadnought instead of just the normal heavy cruiser. But yeah, the model itself is beautiful. The texture or something about it that just makes it a little less... It doesn't pop as much as my other one, which I will also show because we have it. Ah, Spro likes the Ambassador. Interesting. One thing I do want to find is I want to find the Enterprise C. Not the Ambassador version, but the one that's on the ships on the wall, which is different. It has a more swooping design, which is very pretty. So we'll go with a DN because that should be the original one that I've got.
Battle stations.
But this one just seems to pop a bit more. It looks more, I don't know, lifelike, lively, alive. It's definitely a lighter color. The model's not quite as good. You can see a little bit more, how do I describe it? You can see the edges a bit more, like especially on the deflector, as compared to the other one. But when it comes to things like the saucer section, the saucer on this one is just beautiful compared to the other one. Just looks brighter? Maybe that's it. I always thought that it looked just a little bit nicer though. But as you can see, this is what the early dreadnought is, and it's a heavy cruiser. It's got 4 photon torpedoes and 10 phasers. The CAR has 8 phaser ones and 4 photon torpedoes. There's no difference between the two. Which is why it became our heavy cruiser. Or not our heavy cruiser, our early dreadnought. Because it fills basically the same role. Just at longer ranges, which kind of made sense to me. You like the other one better? Alright. Although that makes me feel a little bit better, that other people seem to enjoy it. Because I was a little bit worried that people would look at it and say, ooh, that's ugly. We're just mauling our own ship. I think we've dealt more damage to ourselves than they have. This poor D7. We just keep resurrecting it to kill it. But yeah, we've got him basically dead at this point. Yeah, the TNG mod is actually really nice. It's wow, I just complimented myself, Jesus. The TNG mod is starting to turn out a lot like I wanted it to. There are some things that are missing. Not all, but some. Ooh, there is a dreadnought, though, that I really, really liked. And, this thing is so wickedly cool.
Red alert.
Oh, to a lesser extent, this thing is pretty cool. But there was a different ship that I had in mind. But no, this thing is also pretty cool. I like this. This is a Charleston class, which I believe is just a fan design, but I think it's awesome. I know, it's trying very hard to be awesome. Sprogue is immediately going to say that it's ugly. Show you what you want to see. We're working our way through the dreadnoughts, Sprogue. You need to chill. Our huge, powerful dreadnoughts. What about the Prometheus class? The next up, it is. You see, the Prometheus is the XCF, so it's the fast heavy cruiser. And now full barrage. Hole that just drilled into him.
They've taken moderate damage.
Give me more phasers, more phasers.
They're almost crippled.
Yeah, I quite like this ship. Apparently it's supposed to be like a dreadnought larger than the Galaxy class, but honestly I couldn't not have the heavy dreadnought be a Galaxy. It just made too much sense. And I do understand, it is sort of trying a bit too hard, but I think it's pretty cool. But no, apparently the other one is what I want to look at. Yes, the Charleston does look nice. Oh, it's sweet. I like kind of like the semi-covered nacelles with the bustard collectors in back. I think that's a pretty cool look. I'll be honest, I wasn't fully thrilled with it originally, but it was one of the first ships that I actually put in a game. And once I got it in a game, I was really happy with it. Okay, so it should be the DNF, is it?
Red alert.
Yes, okay. So this is another one from the guy who did the Dominion version of the Constitution class. And this is a I can't even pronounce it. It's like Mnemosyr class or something like that. I believe it's Greek. I don't really have too much proof. But it is a sleek as all heck looking Galaxy. It's got the whole swept back look to it. It's got a lot of design cues. A little bit of the Sovereign right here, which I figured made it perfect for the plasma for the plasma dreadnought, because you know it's supposed to be a little bit more alien. The studio is for this ship. The studio is Demon Renegade Studios, which is another name that is trying too very hard. I'm not quite sure where I got the Charleston from, though. I'm pretty sure that I have a link, though. Oh, you're dead, sir. I don't know if you realize this, but if you can't push me off of the next two... Oh, never mind, you're dead. You just don't have a directory. Probably don't have enough ships to fill all the classes. That's kind of debatable, actually. Plasma? There we go.
We almost have them.
Beautiful. The Nephilim? No, it's like MNEM something something something. It's weird. So I don't quite remember how to pronounce it. And then, now I originally wasn't going to use this ship, but somebody brought it up and really kind of campaigned for it. This is the Midway class. Oh crap, we're fighting an X-type heavy cruiser. I didn't fix it. That'll be fine. We'll kill them with fighters. And for those of you who are a fan of this game, base and vanilla, this is actually the same ship that is normally the heavy carrier / space control ship / large carriers, except they just updated the model. And I believe this is also Demon Renegade Studios. We've taken a lot of models from him because they're very nice. And so basically this is just the original Midway class, which is the one that's in the vanilla game, except just updated. And I gotta be frank, it's a really good looking design. Like, I am a fan of it. Kind of wish there were little wings on top of this bridge up here, but it's solid. And so someone on the Discord really campaigned for it, and I was swayed over by their pleas.
We're going in.
I kind of agreed that it was worth it. It made sense as a space control ship, although not this SCSX, which I have a slightly different ship for. Yep, it does pay respects to the base game. It is a very nice looking ship. Okay. And that'll hit you, and then the Galaxy has already got involved. But yeah, a lot of I tried for the early airships to sort of be in that transitional phase between the motion picture and the next generation, because I thought that it gave a very nice continuity. Eventually, Phase 3 of the TNG mod is actually Orion Pirates Plus Extended, which will be basically adding on all of the ships from Phase 2. onto the end of the tech tree for Orion Pirates Plus. So you'll go from the original series era all the way up to post-Nemesis, which I think would be really cool. But that is a project that will be several years down the road, I anticipate. Unless I am magical in some way, which I don't believe that I am. This ship, I need to swap this out for a moment. It's going to be the same ship, it's just there's a fixed texture on the ship that I'm getting. This is the Nakota, and you may have noticed that the textures are a little bit wonky. That was my mistake, I grabbed the wrong model. That is fixable, I have a fixed version of it. But this is the SCS-X. So it's got the four nacelle design, it's got sort of the hunched look to it, and it's huge. And very cool, too. I think the original ship, the way that the mod author kind of wanted it to be used was as like a gunboat, but it was too much of a carry to me. Especially because in back it's got some fairly massive looking hangar doors. Let's get our fighters out before problems actually arise.
Affirmative. We're going in.
We should have done that earlier. This was the third ship I ended up putting into the game.
Got some damage past their
And I
shields.
think it looks quite nice, actually. Phasers overload, so we're actually using our capabilities. But yeah, I wanted a lot of the X ships to be reminiscent of that post-Nemesis sort of Sovereign-esque style with Sovereign-style nacelles. So that's been one of the things driving that. So if a ship has a small X refit, I'm trying to go in that direction, although not all of them can. Just because there's just too many of certain types of ships. There are literally 500 and there are over 550 Federation vessels and stations in this game. So there's about 500 of every ship class, which wrong button. You're gonna put me in the wrong ship. Forfeit the mission. We don't need it. So finding everything for everything is a little bit difficult. On the bright side, once you get past the Federation, the Klingons, and the Romulans, the number of actual individual ship models goes way down, so there's a lot of room to mess around in there. But really, the Federation are definitely going to be the hardest ones. So we did the space control ship. I didn't do anything for the monitors. There is an entire series of dreadnought that I didn't even know existed. These are the new dreadnoughts and the medium dreadnoughts. I didn't even know those things were a thing, which has me a little bit concerned. I think I have a ship in here for this, but this needs to be a frigate.
Red alert.
Yeah, this is a Korolov class. It should not be a DNL. And I didn't realize just how small it was going to look in game until I actually put it in game. I have been looking for a DNL, but I just don't know what to do with it just yet. Defiant? Alright, we'll do a Defiant right after the Korolov beats the crap out of a G6. So, the Defiant is one of the X-type destroyers, of which there are, 3 different ones. Yeah, the Korolov really needs to be something a lot smaller. I thought about making it a heavy cruiser, but I'm not even sure that it would qualify as a heavy cruiser class. It just looks a little bit too small for that. I figured I was going to try and slot it in maybe as a carrier for one of the smaller, maybe like one of the smaller heavy cruiser carriers. Alright, so the Defiant is light cruiser, this one. So the Defiant is our XDD. I may be swapping this out for a slightly different Defiant. I haven't quite decided that there are quite a few versions, several of which are very good. This one is decent. It was one of the first decent ones that I found because there's also a lot of Defiants that are absolutely terrible. But this Defiant was okay. And so it was in first. But there's another one. It has the NX markings, but it's got sort of a blue splinter camo on it, which I liked a lot. So we're gonna be messing with that a little bit more. The Sao Paulo. Oh, does it say Sao Paulo on it? 74205, and it's an NX type. Is this the Sao Paulo? Looks like the Defiant to me. Because I thought the Sao Paulo had a full NCC designation. And you can see it's got heavy phasers, heavy photon torpedoes. It's quite the nice little ship. And of course Gatling phasers, which when we make phase 2, the Defiant will probably have four Gatling phasers on the forward arcs to represent its pulse phasers. That's not a guarantee, but that's my current plan. That's the Defiant I'm asking to get one. Oh, can we get the Sao Paulo? There might be one, and if not, if you're willing to sort of do a little bit of texture work to change the text to say Sao Paulo, we could do that. We could change the class to fit the model. The Defiant has mostly forward. Not in Phase 1. Phase 1 is going to have minimal ship edits. Because there's a lot of stuff to just sort of get into it.
Almost have them.
Although, to be fair, the X-Type Destroyer does have mostly forward-firing weapons. But yeah, Phase 2, my current plan is to make it have quad forward-firing Gatling phasers. Because I think that would just be too cool not to have. Also doesn't it have twin photon torpedo launchers as well? Which will probably be the heavy photons, which we will probably rename to quantum photon torpedoes, and I might be able to recolor things to make them blue. It's blue! Is Sprogue back yet? Because I don't want to go through the Intrepid just yet, because Sprogue deserves to be here. So this is our scout. The scout is going to look really weird, so just kind of bear with it.
Battle stations.
So I wanted the X-type ships to have sort of an alien feel to them, to be not quite what the Federation normally uses. And so vessels like these kind of really jumped out at me as things that looked Federation-like. Of course, aside from the shark teeth, I understand, but I didn't put it there. But sort of had the Federation is moving a new direction kind of thing with it. I kind of liked the effect that was coming out of it. So this is our destroyer scout, or X-type scout, which is supposed to be very fast and nimble, which it is. It's traveling at a speed of 23. Have we gotten to the good stuff? Yeah, you missed the Defiant. So, and our XDG has a similar appeal to it. But the goal is to pick ships that don't quite look like the normal one. Sort of be more either post-Nemesis or sort of look similar to Federation vessels without being quite along specific lines.
Taking hull damage.
We'll have him taken care of soon, and I assume nobody would complain if we went to look back at the Defiant again. So, although we will look at it after the XDG. Spending 2 hours looking at the ships. There we go. So we'll do the Defiant, and then we'll do the X-type guided destroyer, which has a whole ton of missiles, which I am so tempted to turn into MIRVs, but that would just be a little bit ridiculous. But are you helping making this mod? Currently I'm the only one doing the mod. You want to see the Intrepid? Alright, we can do that. So, the mod is basically me going out finding... I need NLC. EFNLFNSC. So basically I'm going out, I'm hunting down different models, and then I'm incorporating them into the game. So at the moment the mod is basically just me. Is it NCL? Yeah, it's NCL. Is there an NCLX? There is. Good. So at the moment, yeah, I'm making this mod. Here you go, Sprogue. The Intrepid. And as you can see, it is much too small to be a heavy cruiser. You can actually, on this model especially, you can actually see inside on there. Is that not awesome? Somebody went through a lot of effort on this texture, and it is really nice. So yeah, it is the Voyager. There is one other Intrepid that I have that has these nacelles that are in the upraised position, but I decided not to use that one. Yeah, it's got a lot of little details on the hull, which I quite like. So it should be able to kick the crap out of a heavy cruiser, though. You mentioned the Defiant 4G phaser. Are you going for normal G or G2? I'm thinking normal G, because as far as I know, the pulse phasers are a short-ranged weapon. It might not be the case, but I thought that they were. Might help the enlisted Trek guards, or from the group that made Star Trek Armada 3. I don't think Trek guards would be interested. I know that Captain Foley, when he initially tried out to play Starfleet Command 1 and Starfleet Command 3, apparently he can't get Starfleet Command 2 to work. It does look kind of bumpy because of the window textures. Like the episode where it's melting. But I don't think they'd have much interest. I mean, feel free to message them and tell them about this. I wouldn't mind, you know, talking with them about it, but there's really not a whole heck of a lot of expertise going into this. At the moment, the mod is me going in and editing text files and finding models from all over the internet to just sort of throw into it. Yeah, as for the people who do Armada 3, I don't know anything about it. I've never actually played it. I've seen people play it before, but I've never actually taken the time to play it. And something tells me they wouldn't be super thrilled about this. I mean, I might be wrong, but I just kind of get the feeling that this mod and the sort of style of modding that I'm doing isn't exactly highly looked upon by the wider community. I mean, because essentially all I'm doing is I'm poaching models from other modders. So I can't imagine that they would want to associate with that. So it's a small private mod for now, just for that. Know the few guys who did Star Trek Armada 3 instance or something? If you wanna mention it to them, that'd be fine. I mean, I'd be surprised if they'd be interested, but it'd be really cool. So, especially because they have so many other models. I mean, if they knew how to change, well, I assume they would, but if they could change their model format to work with Starfleet Command II, that'd be amazing. Think of all the awesome, high-quality stuff that they could... Oh, don't make me dream, Laurendale. Don't make me dream. Yeah, it'd be very cool. I'd definitely be on board and sort of hopeful for it. But I hadn't planned on talking to anybody about it. But maybe they'd be interested. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I mean, just mention it. Show them this stream. See if they have any interest in that sort of thing. Although they're going to have to jump until like an hour and a half into the stream in order to actually see all the stuff they'd probably be interested in. Never really seen the Intrepid, but its hindquarters look a bit small to the size of its saucer. Yeah, that's kind of how the Intrepid is, actually. So if you look at it from certain angles, the Intrepid looks very much out of shape. Yeah, it's accurate to the full hull form. Sprogue's complaint is that the windows that you can sort of see into make it look kind of lumpy, which I can understand that criticism. There are other models that don't have that, and they're more smooth onto it. If we were to continue moving forward, and we are, I'll eventually have a poll up on the Discord to see what people had interest in, which version they'd prefer. So moving on to more of our X vessels.
Battle stations.
This mod finally happened. Oh, it's not out yet. This is very, very heavily work in progress, and I'm not even doing this in the way that I honestly should be. I should be setting all of these models in a separate folder, but I've been putting them in the base install folder, which I kind of shouldn't be. Eventually, I'll have to fix that. Oh yeah, you wanted to see the Defiant. You can see the Defiant after this, and this should be able to kill this guy. Maybe not, he's a frigate. So this is the Scorpion. It is serving as our guided destroyer. If I can, I want to make it so that the missiles come out of this little... I don't know what you'd call this... The beaver tail in back? Maybe. And I think that'd look very cool if they all just sort of were rising as if they were being launched. One thing I kind of wanted to have ready for the stream, and I just did not end up having the time for it. Yeah, I like this Scorpion a lot. Was I wanted to put in Sprogue's ship, but unfortunately I just did not have the time. There were a few things I wanted to do for this stream and just ended up not having the time because of several things. But now the Defiant for Sprogue. I do too. I thought it was... Oh, gosh darn it. Didn't mean to press that button. It's very sleek. Very aggressive. I'm so happy that you guys like the Scorpion. I saw it the first time in the mod video. It's like, oh my god, that's awesome. I gotta put it in. Doesn't look super Star Trek. I gotta put it in anyway. So we need this, and we are XDD. Sprogue, you're there, right? Make sure you're there. Don't go to the bathroom at the moment, because now we're showing Le Defiant. Although Laurendale has asked for the Sao Paulo. Which, you know, that'd be cool. Zipping along. So here's the Defiant Sprogue for you to ogle and enjoy. Also, I should probably reinforce my shields at some point so I don't get utterly murdered. Are you going to change wireframes? There's no need.
Setting tractors to defense.
So the models come in a .mod format. And so they have all of the stuff as a part of them. Oh, you mean these? I hadn't planned on it because I don't have any artistic talent in that. And even Orion Pirates Plus never ended up doing anything with that, so I'm not quite certain what's actually possible with that. I mean, I can't assume it's not possible, but No, I hadn't planned on it just because I have no artistic talent. I mean, there's a reason why this mod consists mainly of poaching mods from other people. And just sort of putting them together. If you'd be interested, it's not work. I mean, it just would be a mod, so it's not like I can pay you anything for it. But if you want to do it, I mean, that'd be awesome. I would spend more time to figure out exactly how to change the wireframes, if it's possible at all. Because, again, I don't know if it is, because even Orion Pirates Plus never did that, which immediately makes me a bit concerned. Alrighty, so have I shown you the early destroyer? Actually, no, we're still in light cruiser, so we would want the HDW, the heavy war destroyer. Play again.
Battle stations.
Your only complaint is very long. So this is our steam runner. Finding a good steam runner is literally the hardest thing to do. The Saber was similar, but dear God, steam runners are hard to find in a format that looks any good. Most steam runners you run across are these lumpy, misshapen things, and they're hard to get. Sprug, this is not the first steam runner that I went looking for. This steam runner, it took me forever to find one this good. Most of them, like I said, are not this good. Alright, so let's come over here and just hurt him. Triple photon torpedo. Tractor beams, overload. Protect me. Protect me, gun. But yeah, the steam runner is going to be filling our heavy war destroyer slot. It fits into the light cruisers. It's an aggressive workhorse, which kind of was the thing that made me think that the steam runner was perfect for it, because I'm fairly certain the steam runner is supposed to be like a new workhorse style ship. It's supposed to basically be what the Miranda ended up becoming. So a solid fighting vessel that you use for everything, because it has enough firepower to deal with just about everything. And also a fairly ship. Paramount lost the most. Yeah, but you'd assume that the community would have made something beautiful. They just kind of didn't. It was weird. I mean, this one's okay. But most of the steamers I ran across, and I ran across a lot of them, just they were not what you'd want to put in a mod. And that's actually been one of the major deciding factors for a lot of ship models, has just been, does it look any good? If no, then it doesn't get in. So for the longest time, I was worried I just was not going to be able to have a steam runner in. That and the Norway were supposed to do the do-all buddy team. Yep. Can you please fire the phasers? There, good call. We almost got the photon torpedoes ready to go. Let's see what? Oh yeah, we need to find a DW. Because the DW is my ship, the one that I wanted really badly in the game, and also was hard to find. Although a little bit easier than the steam runner, because I only went through like four of those ships before I got a good one. And the steam runners, I've got like 6 or 8 of them that are all just terrible. But this one's okay. But steam runners in this mod should be everywhere, because the heavy war destroyer just shows up everywhere in this game. So they should be one of the most common ship classes you'll run across. But now for the other ship, this one I almost made the DW. If it's in here, it might actually be... Yeah, it might not actually be in this. It might be in the stage lower. Pardon me. So... yeah, like battle transports, NCDs. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna admit it. The NCD should probably not be here.
Battle stations.
Like, I get it. It's ridiculous. But I thought it was pretty fun. So this is the NCD. This is, according to the file, a Chandley class, which I can see the similarities, but, yeah. It's very interesting. Sprog, what's the side for? Aren't you enjoying? If you're not enjoying, let me know, so we can do something more enjoying for you. You need to speak about what ship classes you want to see, otherwise I'm just going to go through the entire list. Just keep bombarding them. The reason I ended up picking it for the NCD was it's too small to be the new heavy cruiser, but it's got a whole bunch of missile launchers on it. It does look crazy. It's a derpy as all heck ship. but it's got missile launchers on it, and that's literally the only reason it ended up becoming our NCD.
They've taken moderate damage.
Oh, the pain. No, I get it. It definitely has some problems. I have terrible taste. It's in because it's funny, not because I love it. Although, it's not bad. Alright, so Sabres. Sabres are part of the X-type frigate line. And the Sabre, I believe, is XFF. So this is our... Or is it? No, the Sabres didn't make it, did they? Oh, yeah. By the way, this is the XFF. The Sabres are not part of the X fleet. What class did I get the Nebula? The Nebulas, plural, because there are many of them. Take a guess, actually. I want to see Godzilla jump jetting through space and have it be... You know, if you were to make a model for Godzilla, I could put it in this game, and you could do that if you really wanted to. So the Sabres did not end up making it as an X vessel. They ended up being another one of the frontline regular vessels. And I will show them just as soon as I show this. This, I believe, is actually supposed to be a dreadnought, but you know what? It follows too perfectly with the rest of my X-type frigates. So this ended up being the full-on X frigate, which works out quite nicely in my opinion. And is fairly nice. Phasers. Gatling phasers getting involved. He's a little tiny G2, but we can outrun him. Slow down a little bit so we can just kill him. There we go. So the Sabre. That ended up being a battle frigate, I believe. So it'll be FFB. Or did it get some other frigate? It is one of the frigates. Gotta remember which one it is, though. So it is not one of the destroyers. It is... Wow, there's a lot of destroyers. So I want a FFB. FBX? Yeah, good.
Red alert.
Yeah, the Sabres are battle frigates. I figured it matched them quite nicely because they're small, they're tiny, and, you know, they're frigates. I may end up changing that if people want to see this ship come up more often. This is a fairly decent Sabre. It was another one of those harder to find ships for some reason. But this one's okay. This came off of a Starfleet Command II Dominion War mod pack, which had actually quite a few of the ships that I was really struggling to actually find. But yeah, the Sabre is a battle frigate, which is not a super common ship to come out. For reference, the battle frigates are the ship in the vanilla game which have the triple nacelle on the frigate. It's a fairly nice model, it is. This one we kind of got lucky on. So, speed time, just so I can actually line you up. 3 photon torpedoes. It's almost as heavily armed as a heavy war destroyer, which is really cool, actually. With a little bit more fire. The only thing better would be if those Phaser 3s were Gatlings. That would pack a punch. But they're tiny, as they're supposed to be, and they're quite effective. And then we almost didn't have it, just because we couldn't find a model for it until I ran into that Dominion War Pack, which had a lot of really nice models for it. I may end up actually even replacing our Sovereign with the Sovereign that they've got. We're moving super slow, so I'm just going to increase speed time so we can enjoy the battle a little bit more. That's one of the weird things, though, I found about playing the TNG pack, is I expect ships to move a little bit faster. And so I end up playing at a slightly higher speed, which, you know, causes mistakes. Lots of mistakes. But it works out okay. DS9 UC Sabres escorting Galaxy classes in the battle? Yep. DS9 has a lot of cool space battle shots. Yeah, the Sabre, very happy that I ended up finding this one so that we could slot it in. And now we'll get to one of the ships that I wanted really badly into this game. And worked incredibly hard to find the right one, because it was not easy. And it should be DW? Where would the DWs be? DWA, DWAX? So there's just a DWX. There's not. Okay, so I'm just going to go with DW.
Battle station.
Yeah. The New Orleans class. I know there are some people who find this class to be incredibly repugnant and ugly. I really like it just for the similarities that it holds with the standard galaxies. I think it looks like part of a concentrated fleet effort. So we have the Kyushu. Oh, I love this ship so much. I don't know why. It's not a beautiful ship. It really isn't. But it's just, it screams the sort of functional workhorse style vessel. Is that a giant handheld phaser? No, actually they're highlighters. Literally, they are a brand of highlighter that they ended up kit bashing onto the model and then painting gray. So that's the secret of that. It even has 3 photon torpedoes, which, you know, matches up with the 3 photon torpedo bays. But yeah, I like the Kyushu a lot. If I could make it a more popular, like a more common to show up ship class, I definitely would. Unfortunately, there's only so many, and the Saber and they were highlighter pens? Close enough. Unfortunately, the Steam Runner, I figured, would just be a little bit more popular and people would prefer to see it instead of the little Kyushu, who I still like a lot. Oh, this ship is so good. There's just something about it. Good night, bro. Although, you're going to bed before you can see the Akira. Simbri just voted. What did Simbri vote for? Over on the Discord? What did we vote for? I'll check it later. I do have to focus on the stream in the chat. So that's everyone. It's passed by the skin of its teeth. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, Sprog is currently referencing the Mech HQ game that we play on our Discord. We have a whole bunch of people, I think 14? Is it 14 or 16 people, Sprog, who they play... Basically, they roleplay a semi-visual novel style thing. I know it's just a kit bash of the galaxy. It's still cool. And because it's a kit bash of a galaxy, it gets to maintain all those sort of galaxy lines. So it makes sense. It looks like it's part of a cohesive fleet because of that. So we need to come up with something. Yep. But yeah, we play a Mech HQ game on the Discord where basically I play through the Mech HQ game and they play as the Mech Warriors. And they get to do stuff and make decisions. 16. Well, I technically don't get to vote because I'm sort of the GM. I don't get to do that sort of thing. So 15. Yeah. I think everybody left here because there's only like 8 or 9 people in the stream right now. I think everybody already is a part of the Discord. So there's kind of no point in advertising it. Wish you could have a separate sausage section and fight with 2 ships. That'd be really, really cool. Unfortunately, you can't do it. But it would be cool. It would make the Prometheus definitely something a little bit else. I'm me, you are not me. So 16. But I'm me. That was a terrible, terrible Schwarzenegger impression. Gotta pull away from that. You hurt me. Little gunboat. Pull away for a little bit. 17 including me. Wow. Although we don't have enough to fill up all 3 lances though, because we had NPCs. So -2 puts us at 15. So who's missing? Oh wait, no, we have 4 lances, duh. 15 players plus prog. So that means we have one NPC left. Poor Crespi. Yeah, I totally forgot about Diamondback. But will you just die already? Wow, this is a tough ship. Either that or I'm just not doing any damage to him. Which, you know, is entirely possible. This is not exactly the best ship in the fleet. I mean, it's a War Destroyer. What do you expect? It's not even a heavy War Destroyer, it's just the normal version. Sprog is trying to keep people out now. Which is funny, because he's the one who brought the most people in. Okay, photon torpedo time. Time for you to end. There we go. Thanks, HBI. Alright, so I do want to get through all of the ships before we call it quits on the stream. Although, at least all the X ships, just because the X ships can show off their coolness. So the next one will be the X Heavy Cruisers, and the X Heavy Cruisers will be the most familiar to everybody. I mean, they are... Oh, and then, of course, the Battle Cruisers. See you, bro. So the Excelsior is the Excelsior, but I did finally modify the Excelsior X to be the Enterprise B refit. Because the, for some reason, they did not use this in the Orion Pirates Plus mod. And I thought that was just crazy because it was perfect for it. So the X-type refit makes the Excelsior the more enhanced version that we see the Enterprise BB, which I don't believe is actually on the Nakota. The Nakota, of course, being the Dominion War era Excelsior. Although there was a Lakota available that I ended up not using because I decided to use the Excelsior. That's pretty cool. So lots of Excelsior ships used by admirals and TNG. Yep. Best looking refit. I agree. There are some people who apparently vehemently disagree on that, but I always liked the Enterprise B. I thought it was a very cool ship. I don't like it as much as the Connie refit, but it's pretty cool. So that was the Excelsior, and then we come to our BCF. This is the worst looking of our battlecruisers because the model's a bit janky and the texture's not quite as good. So, and you'll be able to see that when we sort of zoom in on it. It's just not quite as polished as the other ones. But the reason why we picked it is because it has this gigantic, ridiculous weapons pod up top. And it has that so that it can use its plasma torpedoes. So the key with all of these... It's the Apollo? Okay. So the key with all of these is... yeah, this one... Every single one of our battlecruisers is different. So this one is only for the Bismarck class. And the reason why the Nebulas ended up becoming all of our battlecruisers is because each one had a different sort of weapons pod up top or different setup. So trying to find enough, how do I describe it? Enough unique weapon pods ended up being quite the interesting challenge. There was enough for the first two really easily. The third one was a bit of a stretch. And then this one I almost didn't use. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of it because of the sort of low quality of the model. And so it's... I like the concept of making the Nebulas all the battlecruisers, because I like the fact that all the battlecruisers should be just a little bit different. I think that makes them all unique and interesting. And since it's such a common class in this game, I figured it deserved the extra effort. Yeah, that was entirely my thing, that each battlecruiser had a different modular thing, because in Starfleet Command II, the battlecruisers all have their one unique thing, one unique weapon system. So for the BCG, it's a plasma torpedo. And so I needed a big weapons pod for that. So then there was the BCJ, and this is your standard nebula, because it's just straight up photon torpedoes. Now this has a nice model to it. It's quite nice. I was very happy with this one. Probably more than all of them combined. Well, actually, maybe the Phoenix. But yeah, for the standard weapons pod, which has 6 photon torpedoes on it, the model is fairly nice. Much better than the other one. So, I was quite happy with how that turned out. And the New Jersey class is, of course, the quote-unquote standard one because it's got 6 photon torpedoes, which is the bread and butter of the Federation weapon systems, and they're all forward-firing. So unlike the God, what's it called? The Excelsior, all of its weapon systems are very conventional. And so I figured this would be the perfect one, because this is the, for the most part, this is what most people think of when they think of a nebula. There are people who will think of our next ship, but I figured this was a little bit more appropriate. So as for our next vessel, we move from the BCJ to, ooh, did I miss it? I must have. I didn't show the Kirov, of course, the BCG. No. Yeah, this one, people might think of the nebula as this one. And as we can see, this is the Phoenix, which has the gigantic sensor dome. You may recall it from the episode of TNG where there is a crazed Federation captain who is attacking the Cardassians because he knows that they're smuggling weapons and doing bad stuff. Hello, Autopilot Man. Welcome to the stream. We're just going through the battlecruisers now. And I figured gigantic sensor dish would be perfect to guide all of these weapons, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. And so it did, which worked out quite nicely. Just watch that episode if you get it. It's a good episode. Yeah, I figured it would work out perfectly for the BCG because it has that big sensor dome designed to guide all the missiles, and thematically it worked out quite nicely. He was right there, shouldn't have gone on the killing spree though. Yep. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're doing the right thing though. It's a good episode. Really is. It also sort of helps set up the Cardassians as antagonists later on in Deep Space Nine. The last one is the BCV. I went back and forth on this one a couple of times because I don't like it.
Battle station.
But it is this nebula. The reason why I don't like it is because I think the additional warp engines are ridiculous. But the reason why it ended up becoming our BCV is because of all of these hangar bays on back. And so that's the excuse that I end up using for myself to say that it's a BCV. Is just that it carries a whole bunch of additional fighters in it. But for the most part, it is functionally very similar to the others. Although technically the BCV is probably the most powerful of the battlecruisers because it's basically a BCG, except then it brings in a whole bunch of fighters. Although actually now that I'm looking at it more in game, I'm really liking how he did the glow on the nacelles. I think it works out quite nicely on the texture. Go kill. Destroy. Break.
We're
And
going in.
have victory. But yeah, this is what we ended up doing for all of the battlecruisers, and I think the effect turned out really nicely. I'm very sort of pleased with how it went. Although I also think that they're all slightly different sized, so I'm going to have to do something about that.
Damage.
But Nebulas were always supposed to be sort of a heavy cruiser fill-in, do-everything class, much like the Mirandas, and the battlecruisers really sort of fit for them. Because they're not just a regular heavy cruiser, they're a little bit more than that. And so I liked how that worked out a lot. Alright, so we've already seen the early one, which is our Dominion refit Connie. The mid-heavy cruiser will be a Norway. And then a new heavy cruiser will be the Achilles. Now the Achilles is a bit janky. I will warn about that because it needs work. So instead I'm going to look at an Akira first.
Red alert.
Because there are also a lot of Akiras out there. Oh, yeah, I forgot. The ship actually cannot accelerate while trying to charge weapon systems. It was kind of... Really? Wow. Talk about my lack of Star Trek lore. I didn't realize that. I thought nebulas were supposed to be so much smaller than galaxies. Well, they are smaller than galaxies, but still. Yeah, this model is really nice and combines the best of several other models that I had. In terms of nacelles, the roll bar, and everything. It worked out much better than I thought it was going to. Because earlier I had different versions that didn't have quite so many features that are what I wanted. Oh, this Akira is so good. But yeah, the Akira kicks ass. And so it's our XCA. Because it will be the best Federation heavy cruiser, which just seemed to fit the Akira so well. Because it didn't really feel like it was a slow, ponderous dreadnought. It's faster than that. It's more maneuverable than that. It should be more than that. So that's why it ended up being the XCA. Now the XCB is... So I have very fond memories of this ship because I have a friend who played Bridge Commander and this was his ship. And so I've always kind of liked this ship because of that, because it was his ship, and I thought that was very cool the way he sort of role-played it and did everything with it. So this is an Eximius. It's supposed to be sort of a photon torpedo bombardment machine. And so I figured the bombardment cruiser was the way to go. It's got 8 heavy photon torpedoes. Now, granted, 2 of them fire backwards. But that's okay. We'll deal with it. It doesn't have any point defense system, though. That is its weakness. But what it does have is a pair of photon torpedoes that shoot to the rear. So yeah, the Eximius is our XCB, and then last, of course, is our XCF, which is the last of our sort of major late DS9 anti-Borg designed vessels, and that would be the Prometheus, which I think fit rather nicely just with its design. It's small, it's sleek, it's aggressive, it's supposed to be fast. We don't have the multi-vector assault mode. There's kind of nothing I can do about that. The game just does not support saucer separation. If it did, we'd do it, but... I mean, there has been... I think some people a couple of years ago were speculating, oh, well, you could make it a fighter, but the problem that ends up coming with that is just you can't have the ship model change in flight. That's its main problem. Favorite cannon design? Well, it will be the fast cruiser and available. And just like its bigger brother, the Akira, it was able to finish them off in one salvo. So fairly nice ship. 6 photon torpedoes instead of heavy photon torpedoes, but nice nonetheless. Also 4 phaser A's instead of 2. Alright, so that's our X-heavy cruisers. Which brings us to our new heavy cruiser. Okay, so where's NCD? Is it further up the line? NCF, NCA. Do I have the NCD here, or did I misplace it? Oh, NDC, that's what I wanted. So this is our new drone cruiser.
Battle stations.
I don't like it. I don't like it because of the nacelles. If you look at the nacelles, they're hideous. And it's basically a saucer section from a Sovereign bolted on. The reason why it ended up becoming the new drone cruiser is a similar reason to why the BCG was the Phoenix with a giant sensor dish. Because this is a missile cruiser, you need a whole bunch of antennas and other sensor systems in order to control the missiles, and that's entirely where that came from. So that is why this ship is using this model. Well, I think I have a slightly different model for the other... No, this is for all the drones. That's right. Made more forward? Yeah, I'd like that. That'd be interesting. Kira is older than the previous? Yep. Yes, this is the Ronin class. Did I mention that? Or do you just know these things? Mysterious. So knowledgeable, Lorendale. It's actually rather terrifying at times. Oh, no, I don't want to exit. So that's our drone cruiser. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's not very good. But it's what we have. I don't think I have anything for the normal drone. Oh no, I did the Andor.
Battle stations.
Aha! Unfortunately, it's not a very good Andor, but it's the Andor. This really shouldn't be here. By the time that the heavy drone cruisers show up, you're well into the mid-era, and so having a TMP era ship is just kind of weird. The Andor is an old FOSSA ship that is supposed to be a missile cruiser. It's ridiculous, it's not a great model, but I had it, so I had to throw it in here. It was just... I couldn't not. So it'll be replaced eventually. It's only in there because I was still sort of messing around and having fun with the mod. Oh crap, are we actually gonna be able to kill you? Possibly, maybe not. We did get damage past the shields, but they did kind of gut us. Although he's not firing any wild weasels. So that is helpful. Okay, never mind, he's gonna kill us. But yeah, the Andor really shouldn't be in this game. It doesn't fit. But I like the design too much not to sort of include it anyway. This is what you do for a living. That is true. I do forget that sometimes. If you're on Andor mods, I don't think any of them are really good. Yeah. It's one of those ship designs that it's just not super popular. But for some reason I've always kind of liked it because it's a missile cruiser. You may have noticed that I enjoy things that shoot missiles, being a Marak player and all. Although the Marak desperately need overhauled models compared to this. They just don't have anything nearly as good. So that's the drone cruiser, which we're probably not going to waste any more time on. So the CADs, CARs, now we need to get to the... actually I need CARX? Maybe it's the improved one. See if I actually have this in here. There we go, we've got our Norways. It does explode good. So our Norway class in here, which is going to be receiving a downgrade, because people have been arguing, and they are correct and I am wrong, that it should be a much lighter class of vessel than it is right now. At the moment, it's currently pretending to be every single heavy cruiser in the middle era. So anything that's not a new heavy cruiser and anything that's not an early heavy cruiser is basically this thing. Oh, I forgot. I need to turn down that opposition. Gonna be too strong for me to defeat. It'll make me look bad. And everybody will know. So, the Norway's currently filling in that role. There were quite a few Norways. There's quite a few bad Norways, too. There was actually a really terrible Norway that's actually, there's a link on the Discord to it. And it is not good. Oh, look at how good those X ships are. Just ripped apart the entire starboard side. But yeah, the Norway came really close to being a very ugly grayish model. Not grayish, but brownish model, actually. So. Wow, XDDs are much better than normal heavy cruisers. Although, to be fair, I am running this game at basically full speed and not really doing a whole bunch of things that I should be doing. Let's see how badly it explodes. It should have an explosion model. Pouring fire in. I'm really happy that the damage textures actually work properly on these ships. It works quite nicely. Oh good, the brake model does work. Isn't that awesome? This game. The fact that it was relatively easy to make it so this game works with newer models like that is just great. And then we have our NCD class, which I think is easier if I go backwards. Or NCA? Yeah, the NCA, so the new heavy cruisers. We'll turn that on.
Battle stations.
And it's an Achilles. It's not a very good Achilles, if I'm completely honest. You can see that the texture and the model are a bit naff, but it's functional, and it works reasonably well. It's better than the other Achilles I had, for sure. The Achilles is not exactly an inspiring-looking ship, which is one of the reasons why I kept it from being just a normal heavy cruiser. Makes sense how they make so many Starfleet Command games based on this engine. If it's easy to run. Yeah, there were 3 of them that were basically on the same engine, although Starfleet Command 3 simplified a lot of things. The main difference, though, is the fact that Starfleet Command 1 does not support light maps, and Starfleet Command 2 does. As, I believe it was Linux who kept emphasizing that to me a lot. So in the DS9 game, do you think that this thing should be the standard heavy cruiser? Because right now I have it down as the new heavy cruiser. Because I didn't quite think that it fit in the standard, for the standard setup. But it could be. Yes, lots of forward-firing pulse phaser cannons. Phase 2 will definitely reflect that. It'll probably have G2s just because it's a larger vessel. But yeah, the Achilles currently serving as our newer heavy cruiser. Although I could change it to a few other things. Well, the new heavy cruiser class is a bit difficult to actually come up with a good design for. But it is a thought. So once we get him taken care of, let's see, what else do I have in the heavy cruisers? I think that's it. Maybe? There you go. Dead. You're dead, sir. You no longer exist. So what is left? Did we see the normal frigate? Not the FFB, but the standard frigate. No, that works. She was designed to dish out and take a beating. Okay, good. At least I'm getting some of these ships, right? Alright, so we did the NCD, the... What else do I have? I actually have a list on the Starfleet Command thing. So let me take a quick check-in. So our list says the Akiazi, we saw the early police ship. Ah, yes. This thing will be ridiculous and it'll get its butt kicked, but it should work. So this ship only came in because somebody mentioned that they really liked the ship, and I had a slot perfectly for it as a police vessel. Because the police vessels are sort of out-of-date ships that you wouldn't normally assume. So we got the Okinawa back from the base game. The Okinawa returns in a little tiny, terrible frigate. But it works. That's what it's designed to do. So it'll fill all the police frigate roles. So anytime that you would see a POL, the Okinawa will come up for it, which allows us to enjoy it for a very brief period of time. It's only the early police ship, so I do need to come up with an actual normal police ship, but also there's no way that it takes on this guy. Not with me flying like this. If I did this properly, like plinked away at long range with a single photon torpedo, I could be here for half hour and probably win. But yeah, so the Okinawa returning once again. And as it sort of drifts around, let's see, for the normal, oh yeah, the normal frigate was the Nova, we saw that. I think, no, I didn't get through all the X frigates, but I should go back and check those out. Destroyer early, I changed that, I believe, I think. I'm gonna have to go check, because the early destroyer was, originally what I had for the early destroyer was this ship with 4 nacelles that I kind of wanted to sort of tie in as a common heritage with the Constellation class, and the problem was the nacelles were just too huge. And so I really wanted to replace it, and I don't remember if I ended up doing that. So we're going to check it. We may as well. If it turns out that it's the same ship, then I'll do a quick 360, and then we'll show the next ship. We'll probably move on to the X frigates. because I still need to show most of those. So we need the destroyer. So yeah, we'll keep that on. So it is just DD, not DD plus, because DD plus I believe will take us to the next one.
Battle station.
Yes, I did. Okay. So I understand that thematically this is a little bit weird because we move up to the Cheyenne class from here, but it's basically a Miranda with different warp nacelles. And for some reason the game decided to roll an XCF against me, so I don't really have time to do the full 360. I mean, I'll give it, but we're probably gonna die. Okay, pick that off. Photo torpedoes, go. There we go. So it is it has a little bit of a weirdness with its model because it's got these little weird buzzard collectors, but it's basically a Miranda with galaxy style tips.
Forward shield. We've taken light damage.
So it works out quite nicely.
Systems are online.
We've just been getting our butts kicked this whole time. Although I will blame the technology. An X-Frigate against an early destroyer is not really for a fight. But yeah, originally this was a 4-nacelled vessel that just had super long nacelles. Looks like they came off a off an Excelsior. And it just didn't end up working for me. So I don't know what that is, but it's something. Yeah, I think I have two. I just don't remember where from. Alright, so War Destroyers, Norlands, Constellation class we saw, Steam Runner we saw, Defiant we saw, Scorpion, Tyburn we saw, Centaur class, which is huge we saw, Chandley class, not the one you're thinking we saw, Intrepid, oh yeah, the Furious, the NAC. I'm not quite sold on this, I'll be honest. The NAC ended up being a very weird ship. I've got it in here. It's a new Aegis cruiser. It's meant for sort of fleet escort roles. And so I have it in here, but I'm a little bit torn about it because it looks kind of weird.
Red alert.
So this is the Furious class. And it's basically, I don't even know how to describe it, sort of like a weird mashup of a Saber and a Defiant, and then a little bit of the back of a, whatchamacallit, I think of a Bob. Steamer, that's it. So I'm using this as an Aegis escort cruiser. I'm not really sure why. Just ended up being a thing. And to be fair, several models got in based purely on, I looked at it at the moment, I was like, huh, that would be interesting, and then just sort of threw it in immediately and then marked it on my changelog. So it's designed as an escort. It's kind of for that role. Saber refit? I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't have the Saber's gut, and the nacelles are connected, so... Seeing that, was not impressed. So cruel. But yeah, so this is our current NAC.
Left shield collapsed.
I don't know if it'll stay, but the NACs were a specific call-out in the model types that were available, so I tried to fill it in. I don't think it'll show up all that often,
Systems are on.
but it's still an interesting vessel, just not a inspiring one.
Rear
The fact
shield
that it is
collapsed.
fighting toe-to-toe with an F5WX is more than a little ridiculous to me. Yeah, one. Steaming or something? I think it's just a fan design that sort of went out there. The big thing we're missing, like I said, is carriers. The Raging Queen and the Curry are both going to be carriers. Then I've got a couple of other designs for it. And then is there anything else? Let me go check my list again. Channeling Trip Furious, Dominion Rificani. Oh yeah, the GSCs. I don't actually think I can show the GSCs properly. We're going to try. So they are heavy cruisers and the GSC. The game. And it's our Oberth class.
Battle stations.
So there were a couple of versions of this. This one is okay. There's another one that's slightly smaller. This one is basically just a scaled up version of the other one because I thought it was a bit too small. Although the Oberth is supposed to be rather tiny. Done to the older X-Cruisers? What do you mean older X-Cruisers? Because we do have all of the normal X-Cruisers with the capital X ready. And we did show those. Although if you missed it, then just let me know. Yeah, the Oberth is going to be filling in our Galactic Survey Cruiser because it's a science vessel that is designed not for combat and gets killed often. So we Just get up on top of him and blast him. So Oberths are supposed to be a little bit small. So the fact that this F5C is that size compared to me actually makes me quite happy sort of with the scaling, even though it's taking up a heavy cruiser slot, which is not really that big of a deal. Just don't sneeze or you're blown up. That is an accurate statement, sir. The one thing I'm a little bit confused about is I had a... God, Delta? What's the Federation ball ship again? Oh, I'm totally spacing on this. The one with the big ball on the front instead of a nacelle. For some reason, Delta comes in there. But that I had as the early Galactic Survey Cruiser, which doesn't appear to be coming up. I'm a little bit confused as to where it is. But yeah, the Oberth. The Oberth I almost made a carrier, just because of this lower hull, but that just wouldn't have... Yes, the Daedalus, that's it. Well, it was supposed to be the early survey cruiser, because there was a... Someone made a sort of a, like a refit version of it, which I thought worked out fairly nice, actually. So. The Oberth, for once, has won. I don't think it was a Hope, because the Hope is... Yeah, there's a different one that I've gotten. It's hideous. Although they're often labeled as the Crusher class, so that's a little weird. Yep, Oberths are science vessels, which is why I got the Galactic Survey Cruiser. Alrighty, so we have Oberth, the Norway we saw, the Achilles we saw, the Endor we saw the Ronin, don't have a fast cruiser, we saw all the Nebulas, the Prometheuses, the multi-engine Dakota, the Korolev, we need to replace the Ambassador, Charleston, Menosyne. Menosyne. Menomyce. I'm not even sure. The Galaxy S, the Sovereign, the Missouri, the Carolina was our CVA, which I don't actually think we saw. Let's quickly do that. I think that's the last ship that we have left to show off for what we currently have done. As you can see, I have a lot more work to get done in order to make this thing sort of ready for even Phase 1. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. Alright, so this is our Carolina class. This is our other heavy carrier, which, as you can see, has hangar decks and the like. He's small enough, I could probably ignore him for a little bit. So this will serve as our not quite huge carrier class. It doesn't have like a Nakota version where it becomes suddenly massive, so I don't know if that's a downside or not. It's really going to be determined by the player, I suppose. So let's go launch the fighters, and the fighters. And if I send in enough people, I should overwhelm any sort of point defense that he has. But yeah, carriers are our biggest sort of weakness at the moment. Still working on it. I have 3 in mind. The Korolev, the Curry, and the Raging Queen. But I'm going to need a lot more. So we're going to be going through all of those. Alright, so I think that's going to wrap up the stream. I think we showed off all of the ships, unless somebody missed any. If so, speak up now. Otherwise, we're probably going to be ending very, very shortly. But yeah, that's sort of just a look at what we've been doing so far for sort of Phase 1 of this project. There is a lot more to get done. First of all, there's 7 other races and the pirates. Eventually, we are going to need quite a few others. And we're sort of chugging our way through it. We're going to get as much done as we can. And then after we sort of get all of the visuals done properly, we will then start working on what I'm charitably calling Phase 2. And Phase 2 is going to be from the ground up. We're building entire ship lists. That is going to be a massive project, and the reason why that's going to be so ridiculously massive a project is because, well, we're going to be recreating every other faction, and that'll take forever. Like, this is going to take a while. That's going to take absolutely forever. And I am both happy about it and a little bit terrified about what's going to happen. So, yeah. We're going to have to find out. This, by the way, is going to be Sproke's ship. Don't tell him, but I'm going to be giving him this specific ship in game because of where he came from the BSG world mostly, and this will probably become our pirate carrier. But yeah, so that's going to do it for the stream. I think we had a lot of fun. I think we had a good time. That's Phase 1. If you want to be involved more in sort of what we're doing, I'm going to post the link to the Discord again in chat, and I'll try and make sure that it's in the description down below. Join up. We have a Starfleet Command channel, and sort of let me know sort of your thoughts on things. I mean, today was super helpful that we were able to slot the Norway and the Intrepid, moving things around a little bit, make it a little bit more accurate to kind of what it should be. And if you want to have a little bit more input on that sort of thing, join the Discord and let me know. Otherwise, you can just post comments at the bottom of videos or message me in any way, and we'll go do that. So yeah, it's a small mod. It's not anything crazy at the moment. It's going to become a little bit crazy when we go through to rebuild all the ship lists. And some of the factions may end up even changing just so we can add in things like the Cardassians and stuff. But yeah. You losing the Discord for a reason? Yeah, I've put a permanent link. I'm going to start including those at the bottom of all my videos, so you can just click there if you ever lose it again. So it should be there. But yeah, that's going to do it for the stream. If you like what you're seeing, like button, subscribe. You guys know all that. Bell icon in order to get messages whenever I do stuff. I know I didn't get a message out that I was going to be starting the stream earlier like I like to normally get in. Just sort of got like 5 minutes warning before things actually began. But I also post to the Discord when I'm streaming and that sort of thing if you want a little extra warnings. There's even a special group called Operations that you can join if you want me to ping you specifically every single time that I actually do things. But yeah, if you have any comments, thoughts, anything changes, if you're watching this in VOD form, leave anything at the bottom that you think should change or be included or added. If you've got links to Starfleet Command 3 mods, Starfleet Command 2 mods, to a lesser extent Starfleet Command 1 mods, because most of the Starfleet Command 1 mods are pretty terrible, let me know. If you know how to change normal models into .mod format, and you have some really cool models you'd like to share, let me know. If you think you can get us in touch with people who would be interested in this kind of project, definitely send them our way. This is collaborative. I don't intend to like hide this and hoard this from the community. I'm not sharing it at the moment because really it's not really a mod at the moment. It's just a collection of changing some ship files at the moment, but eventually it will become something that I kind of think I want to distribute, just sort of like any other mod would be, which is weird for me because I've never really been a modder. But maybe that's changed. Yeah, but if you have any thoughts, post them in the Discord, post them in a comment, whatever. And yeah, I will see you all next time.